X in my name is not just a symbol or a target sign. A spell that attracts all who spit facts online all the time. Can you see it? All the ones who drag my name every single day. Can you see it? Can you see it? Can you see it? They keep saying you don't have what it takes to carve out your own name underneath the shadows of gods. And I keep waiting for the day disbelievers say I flew way too close to the sun. I wait, but it never really comes. The X in my name is not just a symbol or a target sign. A spell that attracts all who speak facts online all the time. The X in my name is not just a symbol or a target sign. A force that compels all to rebel from all that shackled minds. Why do they just stand there against when they fall from the battles I have overcome? You feel it, feel the cope and the seething tone that they make while I stand up, man among gods. And I keep thinking with my mill, shooting ropes in my cold that faces towards the sun. They hate, but I'm sitting comfy with their mom. The X in my name is not just a symbol or a target sign. A spell that attracts all who speak facts online all the time. The X in my name is not just a symbol or a target sign. A force that compels all to rebel from all that shackled mind. The X in my name is not just a symbol or a target sign. A spell that attracts all who speak facts online all the time. The X in my name is not just a symbol or a target sign. A force that compels all to rebel from all that shackled minds. It's you and me, your mom, it's me. I'll take another hit from my name. You'll see now, watch me right now, punch your things now. Show you how.
Got my mom to vote blue. I'm proud to say I pulled her out of the MAGA pit. My stepfather, though, damn, I'm sorry to hear about your stepdad, Tostito Man 9000. But hey, you got your mom to be progressive. And, yeah, who knows? If you get her to be progressive enough, I imagine there are ways in which she can force him to vote blue. Won't elaborate any further. I will be voting on election day. I'm very excited to vote. It'll be my first election. It'll be blue down ballot, and I will be loyal to the Democratic Party for the rest of my life, hopefully. Yeah, unless the Democratic Party goes like, there's like a party switch, or it goes Dixiecrats type shit or something, but yeah. Zan, so the second FF16 is basically Dawn Trail. Yoshi P made Dawn Trail twice. The second FF16 is basically Dawn Trail. Or the second DLC is Dawn Trail. Yeah. I'm excited to play the DLC. I need to get a new PC before I can even attempt to run that game on my hardware. Unless, are you running it like on like medium settings pretty well, Balth? Maybe I can run it. To be fair, I played it on the PlayStation and it was laggy on that, but I'm pretty sure my PC mogs a PlayStation Pro. I'm pretty sure a PlayStation Pro does not outperform a 2080 Ti. Which still pulls its weight. A 2080 Ti is still pretty good. Like, it's definitely not bad. There was a time when I had, like, one of the best gaming setups of all my friends. But I haven't upgraded it since, like, 2019. 2020, maybe. Maybe War Penguin. The only reason I'm voting in person is because it's my first election. Other elections after my first 5, I'll probably just do mail-in. After your first 5, damn, that's a long time. You realize there's 4 years between elections, right? Like, that's a long time you plan to be going to, in person. I respect that, though. I get why you would do that. I'm pretty sure I voted in person for the first time as well. My first time doing a mail-in ballot was actually... like when I had first moved to California and I couldn't get residency there yet. And I was still only a visitor. Technically, I was only ever a visitor. I didn't stay there long. The only reason I'm voting... Oh, yeah. Right? I am stupid. I keep forgetting that maybe first 2. Yeah, like 2, 3 elections would be understandable. I mean, you could go to all of them in person if you prefer, but the mail-in ballots are pretty nice, and early voting is also ideal. Because... your vote might not be counted. Like, they do eventually cut off the count. Like, they do eventually stop the count for what counts, really. Like, what really makes a difference in the election. They could do a recount, I suppose. But, like, if you really want to make sure your vote is having an impact as soon as possible, early voting is ideal. Yo, Mr. Krabs, thank you for the $2 super chat. I really appreciate that. Says I got a meme song that slaps. Listen, Mr. Krabs, I'm actually going to be vetoing every potentially copyrighted thing that you donate from now on. I'm sorry, but I got like a rash, a fucking wave of copyright and nation blocks on my stream VODs because so many of the Sonic clips, the anime clips, the like Nintendo clips, all of these, and clips from shows and meme clips from animes and anime songs and shit that you guys send me, have not only been getting full monetization turned off on the VODs, which doesn't really matter because they're old VODs, it also gets them blocked in numerous countries, including America. So, basically, if I react to some of these videos that you guys send me, I potentially risk the VOD being permanently blocked in several countries, including the US. That's unfortunately just how the DMCA system on YouTube works, and I don't like that. It hits the whole stream across the board. The whole stream gets blocked for what could be like a minute of playing like a clip from an anime or something that you guys sent me. So I'm gonna look at what this is, One Piece 34, but if it's something copyrightable... Yeah, I can't play Nintendo stuff. Nintendo is psychotic about it. They're less psychotic now, but there was legitimately a time where you couldn't say shit without getting nuked. But this is a big channel. It's 16 seconds. I'll risk it. Because you donated, Mr. Krabs. And it's a gaming clip. I'll risk it, but man, Nintendo stuff is scary, dude. Nintendo stuff is scary. And also, everybody is upset about the Sonic stuff, so I gotta veto that, okay? Like, if it's just Sonic memes and Sonic clips, I'm sorry. We've seen every Sonic video on YouTube because of you, okay? None of them are new now.
Me. Oh, it's a pizza.
Wait, now this could get me memed. Alright, let's hope I don't.
Me.
I can still donate the Beyblade stuff, right? If it's like a review for like a new Beyblade thing, sure, but don't expect us to watch a lot of it because that's a very niche hyper interest, as you know, that not everyone watching the stream finds interesting. So we'll watch a bit of it, but if it's like a clip from the show or something copyrighted, like I said, I don't want my VODs getting blocked in countries, so there is a certain limit. I apologize, but there is a limit. Pepper T21, thank you for the $5 donation. I really appreciate it. Thank you, thank you. Very kind of you, very base. Said, what if I donate GunTube content? Yeah, that's also a kind of a shaky line, unfortunately. As much as I love gun stuff, and that is one of my hyper interests, unfortunately, YouTube does get pretty cringe about gun stuff in your videos. That's why if I make gun videos, it's going to have to be on a separate channel, because I don't want to get my channel hyper shadow banned by YouTube. Hey, Zan, have you seen the Green Lake area of Seattle? No, I don't know if I have, actually. Let me check. Green Lake, Seattle. Oh, this is a pretty area. Huh. Maybe I have been here. Where is it on the map? Okay. I don't know how much time I've spent in this little area of Seattle, though. But this is such a nice little area. Wow. You guys can look it up yourselves if you want to. I'm just, like, taking a quick look at it. That is a nice little park. Wait, is this where I think it is? I might have been by here before, actually. Is this where I think it is? It might be. Yeah, I think I have been around here once or twice. I think I've been past in the car, and that's about it. It's just this nice little community around a small lake in a Seattle suburb. That's so nice. It's north of downtown Seattle. That's so adorable. Hey, y'all. Sorry I'm late. Executive dysfunction was kicking my ass for a little bit. Then I somehow managed to trip and break a toenail as I tried going up the stairs. Oh, Lefty Jenna, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That's horrible. Sounds like an awful day. Just got your COVID booster, by the way. Hell yeah, Zan's biggest meat rider, which I will read the name of in whole every time when I refer to you. I'm glad you got your COVID booster. Gotta make sure everybody else around you doesn't get sick either, because it's not just about protecting yourself, you're protecting other people as well. Stop the spread. Anyway, Pepper T21, thank you so much for the $5 donation. I really do appreciate it. Said, hey, Zan, good news. I'm getting better at streaming. I managed to yap for 3 hours and got 7.5 hours of watch time. Gotta fix my model's eyes, though. Yeah, definitely, you want to, like, fix any little bugs that you see with your model or anything like that. And I also recommend that you want to, like I said before, occasionally upload prepared content that has like a very heavy lean or a chance of going viral. Because if you can get like a good new influx of viewers and then live stream afterwards, then you've got people in your streams, and the more people, the better. That's one of the biggest things about streaming, is that the more audience you have, the more entertaining your streams are, and thus the more audience you get. So it's actually pretty hard to break out of that, like, under 1,000 view range, but once you get above it, generally you rocket to, like, you know, thousands of viewers pretty quickly. The more people that are in the chat, the more people are suggesting good content ideas. How's Ocular? I miss him, if it's safe to say. If not, don't worry. Oh yeah, he's okay. He's just on a new Discord account. His old one was getting, like, probed, I guess. He got, like, a notification in his email that someone tried to log into it. And whenever that happens, he's like, the account is compromised. And he burns it. Who are you praying on the downfall of this election? I'm making a list races to watch since I have election day off. I have MTG, Bobert Cruz, and Ken Calvert right now. Yeah, I definitely think MTG is going to get reelected, but I'd really love to see her fail too. But she's won by like a landslide every election she's been in. She she won a little less in the last one, her last reelection. But it's still, like, landslide victory every time, if I remember right. Yeah, it's genuinely insane. Marjorie Taylor Greene is, like, genuinely speaks to the average white Georgia woman. You need to know that. Like, the average conservative white Georgia woman who is a Karen, like a massive racist Karen, you need to know this, and they are just like her. Like, down to the way they talk and look and behave and sound, their accent, everything. And Marjorie Taylor Greene is one of them. Marjorie Taylor Greene is a Georgia middle-aged conservative. Basically my political beliefs. That is, listen, I appreciate the kind sentiment. I don't know why you called me Suzanne. I don't know if you're like a bot account or something, but I will say that if you're a real person, oh, you met Zan and voice to text is just a nightmare? Okay, that makes sense. So I will say you probably should not just base your politics on everything I say. Obviously, I think what I believe is correct, but at the same time, like, I don't know everything. I'm wrong probably all the time. I probably don't even know how wrong I am all the time, or how often I am wrong. So don't just take everything that I say at face value. But I do hope that I am able to bring a unique perspective to some situations. I have felt at times that I'm the only one giving a like reasonable take on certain situations, and so I definitely feel like, you know, that's definitely a good thing. I suppose I'd rather you be influenced by that my take than say Hassan's, right? But you also probably don't. I feel like content like mine or any content creator in this space should be looked at in general more critically, not like in a mean way, but in the sense that like, just because this person is supposedly a good creator who's on your side doesn't mean you should take everything they say at face value and commit it to like 100% set in stone belief. It should just be an argument you consider, you know? And if you're really, like, curious about a point, instead of just committing the idea to, like, your full belief, just Google it. It's actually, like, even with how shitty Google is now, it's actually so easy to just Google it. And usually within 5 minutes, you can find an obvious consensus among experts on any topic and figure out, okay, so this is objectively probably, like, the correctest opinion you can have. And that's what I hope more people do. Hey, Azan, just dropping by to say hi and let you know that this morning Shadow Raven Studios got banned from Rumble and the Confederacy of United Modders he was a part of was disbanded. That's funny as hell. I don't even know how to, like, respond to that because it's just so fucking silly, that whole situation. Man, what a wild dude. I think I might have found another critter though. I think I might have found another critter today that could replace Shadow Raven Studios, okay? I found a critter out in the wild. He's a Christian conservative, like, Christian ranter, and, oh man, I think we could get some good content out of it. Just sit tight, chat. Sit tight. Anyway, let me check out the link you sent, PepperT21. How'd this stream do? 36 views, streamed 2 days ago. Not bad, not bad. Let's do a channel audit, okay? Let's do a channel audit. And I will give the best advice that I can give, all right? Content creator to content creator. So, at the end of the day, you want to decide, what do you want to stream? Do you want to be a gaming streamer? A politics streamer, a just general kind of like variety streamer, because whichever one of these options you pick, PepperT21, it's going to be harder to break into, depending on which one you pick. So the hardest might be variety streamer. That is the hardest to break into. The second hardest might be gaming. Gaming is very hard to break into. Politics would probably be the easiest if that's what you have an interest in talking about, but I would actually recommend that you make some videos about a niche interest that you have, that you know there is at least an existent interest or community for on YouTube, but it's actually not very tapped into. And it's something that you're personally passionate about. That's what politics was for me at the time that I started making videos about it. And you may find that your content blows up, and at that point you can start to establish a fan base that'll watch, you know, even your gaming streams and stuff. And that's kind of how you can achieve variety content creator status, which is what every content creator wants, but you have to grow an audience first, and you have to introduce them to reasons why your other content is worth watching. So I would recommend niching down PepperT21 and making some prepared content about a very close to you niche passion that you have. Make a few videos and then do a few streams. I guarantee you go from like 30 to 35 viewers per stream after a couple days to over 100 views on a stream VOD as soon as you've ended it. I guarantee you at least that much progress. YouTube pushes videos so much more than it pushes streams or stream VODs. So until you start producing videos, your channel's going to be somewhat limited, and that is something that I will advise to you. Alrighty, thank you for the $5, PepperT21. I hope the advice helps. I hope to see you grow like a nourished plant. Or, I guess, a weed. Those grow pretty fast and pretty well. PepperT21, thank you for the $5. I really appreciate it as well. Thank you, thank you. Said, here's non-copyrighted music, and then a link. What's this? My Dog featuring Brian Griffin, official music video. I feel like these are skirting the line of, like, I might veto these two, because they're getting kind of cringe now. It's funny once or twice.
Get that shit from overseas, oh, you need a visa. Peter, get that money fast like a cheetah. Get it by any means, go and pack a millimeter. Damn dog, you the fam dog, ride him down with the ram dog. I'm the peanut butter, you the jam, dog. Get shit faced at 2 a.m. at the clam, dog. Make these pussies bleed once a month like they got cramps, dog. Bullets fly faster than a speed of love. White Labrador retriever, bitch, I ain't no pug. Hell no. Love my woman brown, man, I need some gotta tugs. Do you believe in God?
Okay. No, alright. No, I vetoed it. I vetoed it. Good God. Straight out of Quahog. That's the top comment, just in case you guys were wondering. That was not a fire line. Yeah. Everyone in the recording studio after that line was like, "You need to But, you know, the fact that I've got a bunch of freedom-loving fellow Americans here just tells me that today is going to be a good stream. Because, God, when those Europeans are here, oh, man. I bring up, like, how cool guns are, and they're always like, wee, wee, wee. They always cry like little babies, little European babies, every time I bring up how based and gun having our country is. They're always like, but there's school shootings, and it's like, yeah. Let us have fun with our boomsticks. IDK Zan, the Swiss love guns. Yeah, they're an exception, but like, man, the Australians thinking that America and Australia are on the same level in regards to firearm ownership and the ability to, like, quote-unquote, handle the firearm problem. Man, Australians, I always get into fights with them. Australians, and I think Brits. Brits less so, though. Brits don't even care about guns. It's fucking Australians, dude. Australians are so anti-gun, it's crazy. They're so fucking preachy about it, too. Sorry to any Australians in chat. I know I've got a good few of you here, and I might have even argued with a few of you specifically about this topic, and I might even be referring to you. But man, you Australians, when it comes to guns, I just can't stand it. Speaking of guns, by the way, I'm wearing my, for those that don't know, I got this shirt in a Rural King. Hold on, let me stand up so you guys can see it better. I got this shirt in a Rural King in Florida. It says... I think it says "We the People," or no, it says "Defend the Second." Ah, yes, it says "Defend the Second," and it's got the stars and bars. Defend the Second is what it says. I got that at a Rural King in Florida, at the same place I got my gun, and you better believe I was like, you know what? I'm a Florida man. I got my Florida gun. I'm gonna get my Florida man shirt. I've had this for years, and I love it. I love this Florida Man shirt. It's beautiful. Hey, Zan, do you know what Warhammer is? Never heard of it. Not a single time in my life. Never heard of Warhammer 40k, Warhammer Fantasy, Warhammer Minis, Warhammer the Universe or its lore. Never heard of it once. Never heard of the Imperium of Man or the Emperor. Never heard of the Necrons. Never heard of the Skaven. Never heard of the Warp. Never heard of any of these things. No one has. There are tons of people who've never heard of these things despite being online. It's very common, actually. I know, the Skaven is Warhammer Fantasy, but they asked Warhammer broadly. I'm not really a super big Warhammer fan, but I will say I've dabbled. Yo, Zan, what's your take on shrooms? I will never fucking do that shit. I've got family members, thus they share DNA with me, that have done shrooms, and, well, I'll just tell you, one of my uncles did shrooms once, and the report was vomiting in the back of a car for a day. And so I was like, well, I guess I know that my body probably won't respond well to shrooms, so never doing that. Probably never doing acid. Just doesn't really appeal to me. I did DMT a few times, and that was like... I really don't think it gets any cooler or more vivid insofar as, like, hallucinogens go than DMT. So, like, why the fuck would I ever... or a stream any type of content the second anything related to urine is mentioned. Just me saying that word upsets people. And Cosmic Coded is one of those people. I'm sorry. But I'm using you as an example, okay? It's a neat psychological thing that I found out not long ago. And I've told people this, but I haven't been able to prove it. I haven't been able to show people that data. I've seen it referenced in multiple content creator oriented videos about never do this if you're a content creator. Don't talk about piss. It's actually a surprisingly high up thing. Obviously you can say pissed off or whatever. I mean in the sense of discussing the topic of urine in general. Yeah. Yo, Shadow1345, thank you for the $5 super chat. Says, should have drank Red Bull. I heard it gives you wings. Does it? I've never heard that before. That's crazy. How can a drink give you wings? That makes no sense. Anyway, thank you for the $5 as well, Alexia. Very, very kind and based of you. Bengo the Buck, thank you for the $5 dues. Very pog and based of you as well. Thank you. Said, hey, Zan, new Ohio lore just dropped. And a link. We really need to... Alright, let's check this out. Stop making memes about Ohio. It's normal here.
Of Ohio, I would like to say on behalf of all of us, stop the memes, okay? You guys are projecting this image out there that Ohio is some type of weird apocalyptic hellscape, and we just quite frankly don't appreciate it, okay? This is what Ohio looks like. Completely normal, all right? It's a completely normal state. So if you post any memes, please delete it out of respect for us, because we are... What? All right, so we're experiencing a couple technical difficulties, but look, this is as alien as it gets, okay? Cornfields, crop circles, no actual aliens or any other demonic monstrosities or anything like that, okay? So please, just know that Ohio is normal. Please come to Ohio and some actual friends in it. What? Bob, are you propping the wall up properly? Well, why does it keep falling? Alright, so back to what I was saying about Ohio being completely normal, okay? This is what it looks like, okay? We ain't got no zombies, alright? You know what I'm saying? We need some normal people to come here because everybody done got body snatched. And I'm...
It's the upside down.
Bob, let me talk to you real quick. Bob. Just real quick.
He didn't secure the wall properly. Yeah, Cleveland, Ohio is literally just the upside down, and it is where the Mind Flayer is, so be careful, guys. Don't go there. There's a joke SCP that is just Ohio, by the way, Mr. Jersey. If you didn't know that. It's a joke SCP that takes itself super seriously and just describes in detail the SCP that is Ohio, the state of Ohio. There's a Meat Canyon Adventure Time video? Yeah, I think I've seen it. Patrolling East Cleveland almost makes you wish for a nuclear winter. True! Probably not, because it's cold there. Anyway, PepperT21, thank you for the $5. I really appreciate it. Very kind of you. Very pog. Said, alright, thanks for the advice. I'm going to keep streaming because I promised my Discord twice a week streams. That's always good. Says, as for my niche, I like analyzing culture and folklore in video games and shows. That is a good niche. I highly recommend you, look into making some videos about it. And see if they can go viral. Can boost your stream viewership big time. PepperT21, thank you as well for an additional $5. I really do appreciate that. Very kind of you. It's really appreciated and very helpful. Thank you. Said, also here, have an evolution meme. Evolution? We love evolution.
Indohias, my brother.
I love evolution. I believe in that.
Indohias, my brother. I've decided to search for more food in the waters.
You will regret this, Pakicitus. The environment
Is he gonna become a whale?
adapt. I just need some shrimps. I will be perfectly fine.
I think these evolve into whales. Yeah! See? I know my evolution.
What the fuck?
Indohias, my brother. I've decided...
Dude, whales are cool. Whales are fucking neat. They used to be little little creatures. This looks like something... I mean, it's definitely prehistoric looking, but it honestly looks more alien than prehistoric. You know what I mean? It looks like a somewhat uninspired concept design for like an alien raccoon wolf in a in like a sci-fi movie. You know what I mean? Basically just wolves, but with kind of like a weird pattern, and I don't know. But yeah, they became whales. I guess I remembered what whales evolved from. Cool. His greed for shrimp was too much. Yeah. Yeah, it's like a mix between a hyena and a meerkat a little bit. Yeah. I'm 1 in a trillion. Anyway. Alexia, thank you for the $10 donation as well. Thank you so much. You guys are being so generous today. What's going on? Said Zan, who would win, the Imperium of Man from Warhammer 40k or the Covenant from Halo? Round 1, Naval Space. Battleground 2, Boots in the Ground. Ooh. Alright, Boots in the Ground, easy Warhammer win. Okay? Easy Warhammer win. Now, when it comes to the Covenant, I would honestly have to give the W to Warhammer, the Imperium. Because the Imperium, no chance for the Covenant? Yeah, because here's the thing about the Imperium. They would have destroyed High Charity with like 4 or 5 of their biggest ships easily, and they would have done it from like light years away. Because in Halo, it's one of those sci-fi universes where they depict the unrealistic like space combat, where it's like a super close-up like ship battle that look basically a naval battle but in space in terms of the scale, when in reality, ship battles in space would be across like immeasurable distance, like by the human eye. You wouldn't be able to see what you're shooting at, right? And so yeah, it just seems like Imperium ships, based on the fact that Warhammer leans a little more into scientific realism in that way. Not entirely, but a little more so. I feel like 5 big Imperium ships would just annihilate High Charity from like 5 light years away, and the Covenant wouldn't even see it coming. Covenant shields take multiple Mac rounds just to phase them. Do you know how many nukes the Imperium has? I'm pretty sure the Imperium basically deals in nukes as their main form of, like, weaponry, right? Like, aren't the bolters even using, like, depleted, like, radioactive material for ammo? Because they use so much nuclear power and make so many nuclear weapons. I'm not super tapped in on Warhammer lore, but I thought that was the case, right? I don't think that Covenant shields can withhold nukes. Nukes may seem like, you know, we came up with them a long time ago. They're a pretty, like, I guess, low-tech thing, but we're probably going to still be using nukes in war, like, thousands of years in the future if there's, like, some Imperium space war type thing. They're just such an, like, fundamentally effective destroying factor, you know? It doesn't really get much better than, like, the way that nukes work, you know? IDK what to think because I'm a huge Halo fan, but I don't have any idea about Warhammer. Yeah, I just, as a Halo fan myself, I know quite a bit more about Halo than Warhammer. I'd have to give the win to Warhammer, and that's just based on knowing a bit about the Imperium. The Imperium specifically could just... I feel like they could decimate the Covenant. A more interesting question, though, and this I feel like would be a closer fight, would be the Flood. That's right, Viper. I think the Flood in the Warhammer universe, or in the Warhammer galaxy, would be a serious threat that every faction would have a genuine issue with, besides a few. Besides a few that don't have, like, biological matter as any part of them, yeah. The Flood would be a big fucking problem for the Warhammer galaxy. But the Covenant? Not so much. Also, the Covenant and the Imperium are very similar in a lot of ways, in terms of what they are. Like, the Covenant is literally, like, the Imperium of Man, but aliens, when you really think about it. Could Super Earth win against any of those? Ooh, that's a good question. I think Super Earth would at least... It'd be close, but I think it beats the Covenant. The Flood, though... I don't know if Super Earth can beat the Flood. Then again, Super Earth does seem pretty fucking advanced, and it's just the soldiers that are given very, like, shit, like, gear just because they're meant to be numbers. Like, they're just meant to be people being fed into the grinder, not, like, super soldiers by any means, like in a Warhammer sense, where every, every augmented soldier is valuable, right? They fall on the battlefield, they do everything they can to bring them back and, like, keep them going in some way. You know, Super Earth is nothing like that. So maybe they are really advanced and have the capability to wipe out the Flood. It's just not in the traditional sense. Because if it was a fight against the Flood, unless Super Earth could monetize the fight against the Flood, they would just wipe out the Flood immediately if they were an actual threat. I always got that vibe. And Super Earth purposefully keeps the automatons and the bugs around in the way they do because they're a resource. And war is also good for propaganda, so there needs to always be war, and there always needs to be that source of computer. They definitely took Halo Infinite in a good direction, though, in terms of the gameplay. It was really fun, I'm not gonna lie. Like, people shit-talk Halo Infinite a lot. I didn't play the multiplayer, to be fair, and that's what a lot of people are referring to be honest, but in regards to the campaign, I thought the Halo Infinite campaign was really solid, particularly on a gameplay level. It was smooth, it was clean, it felt like Halo Combat Evolved a bit, like it evoked the vibes of Combat Evolved very well, including with the art style. It felt like they got the memo, art style-wise, that it's fine to take some liberties, but not to completely make everything that's classically, like, recognizable look completely different. And, like, the story was getting me hooked, you know? I was ready for more, but it ended too soon. If Halo Infinite had released with, like, the entire story and, you know, the actual amount of content it was supposed to, I think it legitimately would have been the best Halo game. Like, nostalgia and rose-tinted goggles about Halos 2 and 3 aside, I think Halo Infinite, had it been finished, and it clearly was very unfinished, had it been finished and released completely done, very well could have been the best Halo game in a landslide, I think. Dude, the grapple hook function was so fucking good. I never thought that a function like that would work so well for Master Chief and his, like, loadout in Halo, but it feels like something that should have been there from the get-go. And it works well, and it's not, like, broken, it doesn't feel, like, gimmicky or weird. It works, and it's fun. Grabbing, like, explosives and pulling them to you and then throwing them at a crowd of aliens just feels like something Master Chief should be able to do with a grapple hook. It's just, it's so good. The gameplay was great. It's just there wasn't enough map to do gameplay, and I cleared everything out. I won 100% of the game way too fucking fast, and I was so disappointed about it. Anyway, Alexia, thank you for the $10 donation. I really appreciate it. Very kind of you. Very pog. Very base. Thank you, thank you. Said, Mendicant Bias should have been the surprise, not really villain, but not the random new alien species. Yeah, I felt like the game was too short. I felt like what we got was the opening of the game, truly. And they clearly decided at some point in development that they were going to start charging people for the rest of the story in pieces, and that's a no-no in my book, especially when the base game was like 6 hours of content, basically, and the campaign is what it felt like. I remember it felt like in my memory like 6 to 12 hours of content, and they charged like $70 on release. I think the open world should have been a spin-off gimmick, not a mainline game. No, I think the open world was great. I think the open world was, like, actually worked really well because if you remember, Halo Combat Evolved was actually pretty open world. This, obviously not entirely, there were stages, but the amount of, like, you were dropped in and you could easily get lost or have to really spend time looking for where you needed to go. I know because as a little kid, I got lost a lot playing Halo Combat Evolved and wouldn't know where to go because there'd just be some, like, canyon I would need to go through and find, like, the next group of enemies to fight, and that's how you'd know, oh, here's where I'm supposed to go, there's enemies here. The game was, like, surprisingly exploration heavy in Halo Combat Evolved, and they kind of went back to the roots in that game. Anyway, you got me stun locked on this shit, okay? We're vetoing. We're vetoing the Halo stun lock. But yeah, thank you for the $10, Alexia. I really do appreciate it. You guys have been immensely generous today so far. Thank you, guys. I really do want to say that I appreciate it a ton. No, Scapegoat. Also, I want to say, Tristix, thank you for the Tier 1 membership over on YouTube. Very kind of you, very based. I really do appreciate it, and it means a ton. Thank you, thank you. Now, really quick, guys. I'm going to quickly run upstairs and grab myself a Monster Energy before we hop into the first segment of the day, since I want to be nice and awake for it. Today's stream is going to be a little shorter than usual, but thankfully we'll still be doing the same amount of topics as usual, just shorter topics, because after segments, we're doing a watch party tonight. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Redo. Let him know I'm wishing him well. Jesus Christ, that is, like, insanely serious. Spine surgery. Jesus. I hope he's okay. Let him know that I said, like, well wishes. Jesus Christ. I'm rooting for him. Good God, that is some serious procedure. A fucking spine surgery. He really needs it, though? Yeah, I mean, okay, I'm glad it's not like he's dying and it's life-saving procedure. I mean, that would be good if it was saving his life, but if it's, like, improving his quality of life, that's a lot more optimistic, you know? Like, it's not like he had an accident and has to go in for surgery, like, immediately, or he's gonna be dead. It's like he's had a problem and he's getting surgery and it's gonna make his life better, you know? That's a good thing. So yeah, we're rooting for him. Well wishes from the entire Zand community. Slip disc in his spine? Ooh. Oh. Yeah, I've got back problems, and I thought for a while I might have had a slip disc, but I haven't had issues there for a while, so I doubt it. I think I just have, like, muscle pains. So I'm glad. I'm glad I don't have any slip discs, because it just sounds like one of the most painful things a human can experience. Oh, anyway, guys. Anyway, I'm also, I wanted to say, I want to ask you guys what you would prefer today. So the original plan was, for the watch party today, we would be watching the next 3 episodes of Rings of Power. And we can do that, but I only have one drawback with that. As much as I love Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power, and anything Tolkien, it's not very spooky. We've only got a couple weeks left in Spooky Month. So would you guys want to have this week be this Friday, tonight, be the start of our watch through of The Walking Dead? Since we want to take advantage of Spooky Month while we still have it. So yeah, vote in chat, basically. Walking Dead, Rings of Power. Which one of Jesus Christ. Good job not pausing, YouTube. All right. You all know what to do when I say action, right? 3, 2, 1, action. All right, guys. If you've been keeping up with Andrew Tate's story, then you're probably already aware of the fact that he's constantly under more charges for more claims of sexual assault, trafficking, and rape against women, and many of them girls, literally underage minors. They're stacking on, and Andrew Tate is genuinely facing imminent, complete life ruination. He's tried to flee the country, knowing internally that these charges are serious and that he is in fact guilty and is going to get got. He has done everything he can to publicly discredit the investigation, and regardless, he is just in a hole that he cannot escape. He can deny it and bluff as much as he likes. He's probably going to continue to bluff that he is innocent and is going to be freed, and he'll be found innocent as they're taking him away to his prison sentence. But he will go to prison regardless. He's not going to get out of this. At this point, the case is pretty fucking ironclad, and the Romanian government wants to put him away forever. He's probably never going to see the light of day again after the Romanian government, throws him away. It's bad. He's got, dozens of women, many of them minors, coming at him with allegations, and not just allegations, but, legally backed ones. They're working with police. So, with that in mind, you may be thinking, I must be talking about the investigation into Andrew Tate, right? Well, I am going to be talking about an investigation into Andrew Tate. I'm not going to be talking about that one. I'm going to be talking about one that exists entirely on the internet. You see, right now, CoffeeZilla is at war with Andrew Tate's community. If you don't know, CoffeeZilla is a big YouTuber who does, everything from breakdowns of content creators engaging in and promoting scams to, I guess occasionally, financial audits of content creators that lie about financial stuff to their audiences to take advantage of them. He calls out just general grifting in overall. Very much, he's a scam investor. He's also worked, I think, with that one cool guy that does the videos that, fucks with the call center scams as well. He's done some stuff with going against that too. He's part of this community of content creators that you could consider anti-scam tubers, right? A pretty respectable and worth appreciating community of content creators. Yeah, like Jim Browning and Kit Boga. Yes, thank you. And Muda as well does content like that. So as you can imagine, they're investigating Andrew Tate. And there's a lot of reasons you might assume they're investigating him. Is it because of his Hustlers University thing, which was absolutely a pyramid scheme? Was it because of any of the products that he shills for, or just the general vibe of his content being very manipulative and exploitative? Is that what they're going after him for? No. Obviously, there's plenty you could go after him for there, but they're actually investigating him for something that's a little bit more of a recent development. You see... Yeah, also they did that already. As you can see, if you go back to last year or earlier this year, and you find anything that Andrew Tate has to say about cryptocurrency, you'll find that overall his opinion is beyond negative. All right, I'm just giving you guys a little bit of info going into this segment. I want you guys to remember this. All right, just understand what Andrew Tate's opinion on crypto was earlier this year. Here's a quote. I don't want to make these dorks richer. A former The former kickboxer, who is currently facing legal charges of human trafficking, rape, and forming a criminal gang to sexually exploit women, went on to discuss the pitfalls of earning through crypto. If you make a bunch of money on crypto, pump, you have learned nothing and benefited nobody. It is the lazy person's dream to buy a coin, it blows up, then they get to be rich, with no work, no net benefit to the universe. He likened the act of trading in cryptocurrencies akin to gambling. For every person who wins, someone else must lose. If you buy a coin for $1 and sell it for 10, someone bought it at $10. If it then goes down, the person who bought it at $10 loses money. Tate then claims to have made 60 to 70 million through crypto investments, said that cryptocurrency should not define a person's identity. What kind of loser are you to make some money from digital internet money and then make it your profile picture and change your display name? So here he's actually being pretty based overall, like actually making some pretty poignant criticisms of crypto culture, the crypto community, and if you go back even further than this, he goes even harder on the crypto sphere. He doesn't admit to making any money off of crypto, in fact, and actually argues anyone who invests in crypto is a sucker, that crypto is evil because, as he says himself, someone has to lose for someone else to win, and that it is objectively, in its fundamental construction, a scam. Knowing what Andrew Tate has said in the past to garner clout off of having a controversial take about crypto, and trust me, in that community, that is considered a controversial take about crypto, even if it's not, like, in the normal world. So, as you can imagine, Andrew Tate 180ing entirely on this now, today, launching his own scam coin, telling his fans to buy into it and telling them the more they buy into it, the more he'll put into it, and promising not to sell. The most obvious rug pull scheme in the world of crypto that I've possibly ever seen, really. Yeah. People like CoffeeZilla, they're coming after him. And apparently, the fact that CoffeeZilla is now working on a documentary going after Andrew Tate is quite upsetting to Andrew Tate. In fact, Andrew Tate went as far as to have a meltdown on his show, but we're going to be getting to that in just a moment. CoffeeZilla on his second channel called Voidzilla uploaded this video called Andrew Tate is having a meltdown and it's my fault. It's only 4 minutes long. It's not very long. You know, very bite-sized, if you will, but it does a really good job of giving us a breakdown of the situation so far. Now, keep in mind, he is not fully released his investigation of Andrew Tate yet. Andrew Tate is having a meltdown over an investigation that's not even public yet. He is that scared of this coming out. That should definitely tell you, what's going on, you know? But yeah, his fans are also blowing up CoffeeZilla's emails as well, because Andrew Tate leaked it. We'll get into the whole story here. In fact, we're going to let CoffeeZilla himself tell it, though keep in mind, we are still waiting on this big investigation to drop. We haven't even gotten the big, bombshell itself. This is just preamble at the end of the day. This is just Andrew Tate aggressively sending his fans to attack CoffeeZilla because he knows CoffeeZilla is making a video on him. Really goes to show how, totally not worried, as Andrew Tate will argue he isn't, how totally not worried Andrew Tate is about this video.
I'm in big trouble, guys. The alpha male Andrew Tate is after me, as is his war room. They're all coming after me after I investigated Andrew Tate. Now, previously, Tate was a big fan of mine. But would you believe it? After I asked him some questions, that all changed.
CoffeeZilla, who I actually kind of respected and thought had a brain.
CoffeeZilla is a I don't give a about your video. I don't respect your journalism.
That's right. He doesn't respect my journalism anymore. You can see I've really angered him. Now, I haven't released anything of my investigation yet. All I've done so far is ask very basic questions to Andrew Tate about crypto coins that he's promoted. There's a bunch of coins that are down 90%, some would call scams, and I just had some basic questions about why you promoted them.
Listen, I'm not I am a rehabilitative justice guy. I'm not a retributive justice guy. But when it comes to Andrew Tate, I can't say that I'm not going to laugh for, so long that I'm in pain. I can't lie and tell you I won't laugh so hard that I'll be in pain when Andrew Tate and Tristan Tate are getting carted off to prison. Not jail, not holding, not, being held until a court date, but after being found guilty on all counts, charged with the maximum penalty and being carted off to prison for a very long time, maybe for the rest of their lives. I will laugh so fucking hard. Like, Andrew Tate is the kind of person who builds himself up so high from his bluffing and his shit-talking that you just can't help but, like, hope and pray to see his downfall, because he's going to fall so hard. He's going to fall so hard. It's going to be, like, impossible to look away from, man.
After saying that, Tate's famous for saying, oh, I don't need to promote these meme coins. I don't need to scam my fans. I don't need to rob my fans. And so this is what you do. In fact,
Mind you, this is the same logic that conservatives used to justify voting for Trump in 2016 as to, like, how, despite him being the first billionaire president in American history, how that wouldn't be a conflict of interest. They actually argued his being a billionaire meant he had nothing to gain from the presidency financially and would only act in the people's interest, because what else could he want? He's already got everything he could need. A fundamental misunderstanding of how rich people think and behave that can only be produced by someone who has never experienced, like, financial stability. Because, yeah, a lot of rich people do not give a fuck whether or not they've got enough to survive. It's just a game of making numbers go up at a certain point. No multi-billionaire is like, I need more money. I need to keep doing my thing that makes me money. Because if I don't get an extra billion, then, you know, if everything goes belly up tomorrow, will I be able to afford to live? Like, no. Like, most of the most rich people that you can think of are that rich because they don't stop trying to earn money. They don't stop trying to, like, make money through any means, I should say.
This is what the Tates complain about. There are no real journalists left. Oh, we're the real journalists. But this is actually what you're supposed to do. You go to people with questions before you release the story to make sure you hear their side. And so that's what I did, of course, even with the Tate brothers, who I figured wouldn't exactly give me a completely straight answer. But, you know, nonetheless, I had to do my due diligence. Now, in response to my request, Andrew Tate said this, and then he leaked my email address, which I thought maybe was unintentional, until he told his fans to actually go email me on his behalf to call me gay. And then went on a 2-minute rant where he never answered a single question.
Okay, keep in mind, by the way, that he specifically said, email him and call him gay, and then leaked his email, because later on, I've actually seen this already. My bad. I forgot to mention that I have pre-watched this. The clip where Andrew Tate responds to claims that he purposefully leaked CoffeeZilla's email, he says he did it by accident, which is just like, well, there you go. Your average Andrew Tate lie. He does something loudly and publicly and then screams in your face that he never did it, and you're gay if you think he did.
Instead said he would pump a meme coin if his fans, I guess the War Room, the Real World, flooded my email, disliked my upcoming video, even though no one has seen it yet.
This is my statement to you, CoffeeZilla. You're a You're doing this little breakdown, this investigation. You just emailed me in a actual tone saying, oh, I want to ask questions about this coin, this coin. You really think you're going to do a investigation into the fact that meme coin prices go up and down and all the cards and the
You're going to do an investigation on the fact that meme coins go up and down? Okay, so for starters, meme coin cryptos are a scam. They just are. Crypto in general is a scam. It's gambling. It's actually gambling, but worse. Because there's, like, it's not even the house always wins. It's like someone is always losing, you know? In reality, there's like 1 or 2 people that usually get in early. They start the crypto. They start promoting it. People start getting in. It blows up, and it spikes. The people who got in early sell. They usually have the most value in the crypto when they do sell, and so when they sell, it results in a big spike downwards that's noticeable to everybody. The rise stops, and people start panic selling, and then it starts dropping, and that feeds into the panic selling, and the crypto dies. This is every meme coin's life. There's not a single meme coin, like maybe Doge has like persisted just because it's like a forever meme, Doge, the concept of Doge, but like outside of that, even every content creator meme coin has been a scam. It blows up, it spikes, the content creator put a bunch of money in before anybody else could buy in. They have the majority of value in the coin. They sell, it stops the rise. Everyone starts panic selling, and the only person who wins is Andrew Tate and whoever helped him start his scam coin that all bought in at the start.
Trenches are gonna agree with you. Of course they go up and down. It's meme coins. Nobody cares.
I like how he implies that when they go up and down, that it's like a fluctuation up and down, like the stock market. Like, oh, you could buy in and sell when it's high, right? Buy low, sell high. That's not how it works with these meme coins. They've got one spike. They rarely, if ever, revive themselves, and they certainly don't tend to like peak after another spike. And so more often, like, what he means is they go up and down, and that's it. They go up and then they go down. And everybody who sells when it's going down loses money. That's the scam.
I'm built different. I'm loved. Nobody likes you. Nobody's scared of your investigation. Your emails sound. I accidentally leaked your email address. Now everyone's calling you.
I accidentally leaked your email address. Meanwhile, email him and call him gay after posting his email. Your average Andrew Tate lie. Like, the Romanian FBI is like, yeah, so he's raped like 6 young women, like 6 like little girls, and he's like, the Romanian government and the Matrix are after me. These are all they're lying about me. These are falsehoods. I'm totally innocent. And it's like, dude, like, you're not getting investigated for raping children by the federal government because of the culture war. You're a fucking pedophile and you hurt kids. That is what Andrew Tate is under investigation for. He trafficked kids, not just adult women, but kids too. A lot of them, apparently, considering the amount of new charges he's getting. So yeah, Andrew Tate is legitimately like a monstrous human being. The fact that there is a community for him at all, I mean, same I guess goes for like Dr. Disrespect too. It really goes to show that like the 2016 era of feminists were completely right about us living in a rape culture. Not even just a rape culture, but like a pedophile culture. People like Andrew Tate and Dr. Disrespect are hitting their peaks after getting outed for like harming minors sexually. That's the internet that we exist in. These people are hitting their peaks in relevance and popularity right now, shortly after these things come public. That is rape culture. That is absolutely rape culture if I've ever seen it. Those feminists were completely fucking right. We should have fucking prayed. We should have gotten on our knees and praised them for their prescience in calling this out, because they were completely right. And it's no more true anywhere but the Catholic Church and the internet. Ironically, 2 very similar places, it seems, considering the route content creators have been going lately, especially this last year. Jesus Christ.
My daddy to the moon for every single person who can show me they have emailed Coffeezilla and called him gay. I will buy daddy. And for every single dislike on his upcoming...
Daddy is the name of his crypto coin, and no, it's not ironic. Yeah, he's basically saying, for everyone who calls Coffeezilla gay, I'll buy more into my scam coin, which is obviously a lie. For those who don't know how it works, when the scam coin was started, he would have been able to buy in when it was worth, let's say, I don't know where it started, but for the sake of argument, let's say it started at 0.01 cents, right? Like 1/100th of a cent. And so he buys in there, and let's say it gets up to $1. And then at $1, he's going to sell once it starts to slow down in its growth, because the amount of support from the audience is, it's reaching its limit. Once the growth starts to slow, at that point, hell, he could have sold days ago, but when he sells when things start to slow, there's a massive profit. Let's say he sells at $1. That's 100 times profit right there, guys. Bro invested at a 1/100th of a cent, and it got to $1. That's a 100 times output. And so this has happened with quite a few meme coins, where people have been able to create these very, very like nothing coins that are worth like fractions of pennies. And as long as enough people buy in to make it worth like a few times more, that's 1,000 times profit. I'm bad at math, so don't shit on me, okay? But yeah, regardless, the profit is immense. that these content creators can make, like legitimately immense. They buy in early, and it's not like, oh, they made $1 because the crypto went up $1. It's they multiplied their winnings by several times over because of how early they bought in and how low the starting amount was, and how even if it's a low amount that it rises to, what matters is how many more times that value is than the original starting point where the people who started the scam bought in. Because, there's no chance that the people who bought in at the start are ever going to be able to sell at a lower point than they bought in at. They bought in at the ground floor, the most ground of ground floors. Andrew Tate did. He's not going to be buying any of the crypto when it's worth, 50 cents, because he's not going to make as much of an investment off of that, even if he does sell at the peak. So he's lying. He's basically just trying to throw out a bigger carrot, a juicier carrot for people to buy into the crypto more and accelerate its growth so he can get to that point where he plans to sell all of his value, all of his ownership of the coin at. He's obviously not going to throw away the money. This is just another plan for him to make a shitload off of. He's a scammer. Just because he's rich doesn't mean he has no reason to try and make more money. That's not how billionaires or millionaires work, guys. I'm sorry. They don't become altruistic because they just have enough money. It seems very rare that happens.
Bullshit expose. I'll buy more, daddy.
Ah, yes. The classic normal response of someone who doesn't care about an investigation. So now I've got an email inbox full of slurs from Andrew Tate's war room, his inside counsel, the alpha males, this fear.
Just a reminder of what the people who are in Andrew Tate's fan base look like. I need you to know. Hold on. I need you guys to know, every one of the people who watch these videos is either, the most pathetic adult you can imagine, genuinely, neat maxing beyond anything you could imagine, or this. This is the average Andrew Tate, Sneeko, and Aiden Ross fan. It's why they're able to use arguments that could only convince children, because these are their audiences.
Fuck the woman! Fuck the woman!
What? No, wait.
Sneeko.
We love women. We love women.
But not like transgenders.
Yes, sir. We love everybody. No.
All gays should die.
Yeah, merch, preach.
These are the people that are sending those emails. So when you get those thousands of people that are alpha males coming after you and calling you a beta or whatever, those are the people doing it. Literal prepubescent, non-voice cracked, literal young boys are calling themselves alpha males, watching Andrew Tate and talking about fuck the women, fuck the I love that those kids are so young, they can't enunciate their words yet. They're 11 or 12, and you don't realize it when you are a kid, but then you get older, 16, 15, around that age, and you start to realize, man, just a few years ago, I still talked funny like a kid. I didn't fully enunciate my words properly. And those kids were doing it, so you just hear that, poor enunciation of words that kids do, saying that, instead of, oh yeah, fuck women, he says, fuck the women. It's he's not even old enough to know how to be a piece of shit properly, and that's what makes it, especially funny, but also especially grim, you know?
Group of elite men. Legit, I have hundreds of these emails, all freaking out, ironically, on behalf of an alpha male who's also freaking out about questions that he refuses to answer, about an investigation that none of them have seen, but they're planning to dislike in advance to own me and to prove to their daddy that they're going to be, they're good little boys, right? And by the way, that's not my word for him. Tate promotes a coin called Daddy. Okay, so just imagine how cringy
Trust me, it's
you have
not
to be
ironic.
to follow a guy that you are calling Daddy, and you are paying him financially. Meanwhile, we've had zero questions
Not just
answered.
that, but it's a scam. It's not just even paying. You could say, there was a certain level of shamelessness in the scam that was Hustlers University, right? But at least that was you could actually make money off of Hustlers University. What Hustlers University taught you to do was half of it was alpha male training, and the other half was business advice, some of it pretty good. But the main thing they told you to do was to take clips of Andrew Tate and to re-upload them on YouTube and on TikTok and every platform you can think of, to re-upload Andrew Tate clips and to monetize them. Not only did this funnel new people to Andrew Tate because you couldn't go anywhere without finding clips of Andrew Tate. It's why when you would go on YouTube Shorts or TikTok for a while, you would find all these hundreds of random accounts all posting random shorts and clips of Andrew Tate. They're all students of Hustlers University. And they're reaping the ad revenue off of Andrew Tate's content, which is technically a return, and many of them probably made a lot in return for what they paid for Hustlers University, to be fair. So while it was a scam, it was just a pyramid scheme meant to convince gullible young men to pay Andrew Tate for a class that would just tell them to re-upload his content, get him more prominence, but technically make them some money on the side, to this, which is just outright stealing from his fans. Maybe a small fraction will buy in early enough and sell early enough that they'll end up making profit, but like we've talked about, for any single person to make a big win off of crypto, a lot of people have to have lost a lot. For every single person, one single person who makes a big win off crypto, a bunch of people lost a lot of money on crypto. And so if the more Andrew Tate fans who actually make profit off of this whole thing means the far more Andrew Tate fans who were completely scammed and lost a lot of money because they bought in too late and they didn't sell soon enough.
That 2-minute video rant exists. There are several other tweets from Andrew Tate just completely having a meltdown. In fact, he said he might have an emergency meeting on me. Oh, no, guys. An emergency meeting.
An emergency meeting on
CoffeeZilla's
Twitter
about
Spaces.
to release a report. We used to like him. Now we hate him. Even Tristan Tate got involved, often thought as the more eloquent and calm of the Tate brothers. You could see he's not faring much better than Andrew Tate. Very weird and cringy behavior.
Listen, guys, it's ironic because these are the exact words I would have called Andrew Tate earlier in the video if YouTube didn't have rules against it. I've gotten the pass to say this word plenty. I mean, I can already say this one, but this word, I've gotten so many passes to say this one. If YouTube didn't have rules against it, oh, man.
Very weird and cringy.
Plenty of conservative figures deserve to be called that word. I think the left, and especially the LGBT community, needs to start using that word as an insult against conservatives. The power it contains, oh my God, you guys have no idea. If you gays, because I know all of you in chat are gay right now, if you gays start like whole hog, raw dog calling conservatives the F slur and just enunciating it hard, like make sure every bit of hate that they would use with that word at you is in it when you use it at them. Oh my God, that will trigger them so much. We need the LGBT community to do this, okay? Rebrand it into an insult that is pretty much exclusively used at conservatives because the power it has is exclusively in that context of gayness, right? Because you're also calling them gay, which upsets them so much. I wouldn't be surprised if most of you guys already do this. Apparently, a lot of Gen Z LGBT people just are very, very edgy based on what I have heard and seen. Yeah.
Behavior.
No, Andrew Tate is super fucking gay, though, low-key. Like, let's be real, all right? Andrew Tate is really gay. Hold on. Andrew Tate sits around shirtless, sitting around with other shirtless men, oils himself up for an audience of dudes, looking for constant validation and compliments and affirmation of his masculinity from other dudes. He's always trying to, like, show himself off and his muscles to other dudes. He works out and gets, like, fit and does everything he does to impress dudes. Andrew Tate's kind of gay. Like, chat, have you guys, like low-key, like, he's more gay than I think most gay guys. I don't think most gay guys spend anywhere near as much time as Andrew Tate does thinking about how other men perceive him. Seriously, I'm not joking here. This is not like Andrew Tate is gay, haha joke. I'm actually making a legitimate, serious argument here. How many of you who are gay men in chat genuinely put in as much time as Andrew Tate does into thinking about what other men think of your appearance? I guarantee you, the vast majority of gay men put in fractions of the time Andrew Tate does. Yeah, he gets his fans to call him daddy, and, you know, they're all guys, right? So that's kind of gay. But also, just the general fact that so much of his life is centered around not just his, like, perception, but his looks. He wants to look good for other men. It's like, dude, I know lots of gay dudes who are not that, like, dedicated, who are not thinking about what other men think of them that much. Like Andrew Tate, for someone who uses the F slur as an insult and hates gay people and all that shit, it's hilarious how much like everything that he uses like a stereotype about gay people actually applies to him more. He's also done the whole gay like pedophile panic thing that the right has been pushing. Meanwhile, Andrew Tate is being investigated by the Romanian FBI for multiple sexual assault and human trafficking charges on minors. So it's like, it's always projection. It's always projection. Oh my God, mushmouth.
You're from the two worst alpha males. Either way, though, guys, sincerely, I would appreciate an answer to my questions. I mean, you do have my email. Okay, thanks. Bye-bye.
Actually, I'm curious to read what this says. Hey, Andrew, I'm reaching out for a comment, as I have a story about your crypto endorsements coming out. Please respond in 48 hours to ensure I can get your answer in the video for context. Last year, this is literally like I'm making the video anyway. Would you like to have statements so that your voice is heard in the video? That, like, the fact that Andrew got so angry about this really does go to show that he knows he's, like, not going to look good at all and there's nothing he can say. That, like, he could have very easily taken this opportunity to, like, explain the situation if it's something that isn't a scam. It is. It's a crypto rug pull. But, like, in the fantasy reality where he's not guilty, he could have responded. This is actually very well done. This is a standard, like, hi, I'm doing a story. I'm reaching out to you for comment, because not letting you comment on this and giving you a voice would be kind of fucked. This is why you should never show basic, like, sympathy or like play by the rules with conservatives. They will take advantage of the fact that you play by the rules and stay polite as much as possible. You email them like a polite thing like, hey, could you answer some questions? They'll leak your email and tell their fans to like spam it with slurs. Like, don't let yourself be gaslit into believing people like Andrew Tate are genuine, honest people that actually care about like anything other than making themselves more money and like hurting anybody that calls them out. Like, don't let them gaslight you. There's no genuine factors to the online right. They are hoodwinking shitloads of conservatives. Like, there are genuinely, like, I'm starting to see waves of conservatives that are, like, internet content viewers themselves, not creators, that are starting to get, like, kind of disillusioned with the current state of conservative content. And I've had a lot of them commenting on my videos saying, I don't agree with everything you say, but at least you're not just repeating the same bullshit over and over again. And I was like, they're figuring it out. They're figuring it out. That's what I like to see. Anyway, are you aware the Roost coin you and your brother promoted has been hacked to the detriment of holders? How much were you and your brother paid to promote / talk about Venom blockchain? That's a different coin. How much were you paid to talk about Fmod Ana? These are all different coins I guess he's done rug pulls with over the last year. Were you or your brother paid by or affiliated with RNT and Daddy Coin? You've said, SEC, come for me. There's no SEC in Romania. We're scammers. Now you say you're trying to get TRW token regulated under SEC law. What changed? Are you planning to sell to U.S. investors? Thanks, CoffeeZilla. You got to remember, though, Andrew Tate blew up into prominence, much like Dr. Disrespect, actually, on the branding of being a piece of shit, right? Like, Dr. Disrespect's biggest thing, like, the thing everyone knows him for is cheating on his wife, right? Like, he gained more subs than ever from cheating on his wife and owning it. And, like, he did apologize, but then he just kind of, like, integrated it into his character and owned the jokes. And so he built his brand on being a piece of shit. And so being outed as a pedo wasn't enough to destroy his career. Same goes for Andrew Tate. When you build your brand on attracting the worst people who fight to destroy the concept of standards in our society for like behavior and morals in people, then nothing that you expose about someone can really divert them away from that audience. The fact is, Andrew Tate's going to have some level of relevance online until he's hauled off to prison. That's the reality of the situation. As much as I hate to say it, he's not going to die off on his own. He speaks to a very powerful sense of misogyny that is going to be prolific in young men, probably until the root issues get solved. And I've talked about my theories of what those root issues are. I think a lot of it has to do with the U.S. schooling system. Like, I've elaborated more in other videos, but I'll give, like, the Cliff Notes version here. I theorize a lot that, like, the fundamental misogynistic, like, base-level beliefs that young men have, like, in middle school and elementary school that lead them into becoming Andrew Tate fans, because remember, that is the demographic watching Andrew Tate, isn't, like, you know, they internally want to like own and dominate women and have rights over them and all that as a baseline. I think it's more so that negative stereotypes. Well, you got to know that like kids, every experience a kid has works to form their worldview that will probably stick with them until they're an adult, unless they have some serious like worldview changing experiences. So like even a few very negative experiences as a kid can shape someone's entire perspective when they get older. How many young guys do you think, like elementary school, middle school, had a girl say something rude to them or mean to them or reject their like advancements when they had a crush in like a really mean, hurtful way, and that like started a like crack in their insecurity that would then be taken advantage of by Andrew Tate in the future? I think a lot of it's the schooling system, you know? Like you go to school, you like kids are shitty, and I feel like a lot of the shitty behavior that kids treat each other with establish a perception of this like gender dynamic that never really goes away and is literally the main thing that Andrew Tate and his ilk take advantage of. So I genuinely think it's the public school system. I don't want to demonize it, but I think the way that it operates and the way that like kids are exposed to other kids and their behavior or top 60 or 50 on Spotify. And it's like way bigger than Matt Walsh's presence online, which is hilarious. So he's very clearly like either wrong or jealous or both. And so it was just fun to make fun of him. Now I got some comments. And when I find a critter on YouTube, when I find someone who's like weird, one of the best red flags for like mental illness. I'm not going to listen, guys, this sounds crazy, but if you were doing YouTube yourselves, you would know this. One of the biggest red flags that someone is like very mentally ill, unwell, and obsessed with you is when they leave like 5 or 6 comments on one of your videos, clearly like leaving a hate comment for everything you say in the video that upsets them. It's very abnormal to do that. I think most of you can understand. And they end up leaving like a lot of comments. And so when I see the same person commenting a lot in the same video, I stop and I read it because usually they're like a full-on schizo and it's always good. So while scrolling through my comments, I found this guy. His name is Pastor Dean. Okay, this is his first, or I guess technically most recent comment. He comments usually very much out of context, like as if he's live responding to what I say, which really is part of that like red flag, this guy's not all there type thing I was talking about. So Pastor Dean says, "You have no idea what you're talking about, and you can tell you haven't watched it." I guess he's like referencing VeggieTales. Like, I have no idea what I'm talking about in reference to VeggieTales, and he can tell I've never watched it, which is hilarious because I just think back to when I went to the flea market for like weeks hunting for a VHS copy of the parody of Lord of the Rings, Lord of the Beans they did, because I saw it in an ad at the end of a previous VHS tape for another VeggieTales episode I had on VHS, because that's how it would go, right? You would watch an episode on VHS, they would do advertisements or like little like on other episodes, like to get you like, oh, they've done other episodes, they've done other specials and stuff too, and I would seek them out at the flea market. Just funny that he accuses me of this, like, I know you haven't watched VeggieTales. It's like, okay, whatever. So he argues with some people in the comments, pretty funny. Then I scroll some more, and he pops up again on the same video, in the same hour. He commented multiple times in the same video in the same hour, like watching the video and leaving a new comment every time he hears an argument he doesn't like. Now, here he actually managed to make a cohesive argument, all right? He argues, the saying, hate the sin, not the sinner, is absolutely stupid. Your sin doesn't get sent to hell, you do. This guy replies, my brother in Christ, that is what Christ himself said. You to deny that is going against the Lord himself, which is heretical. The guy responds, can you show me the scripture? He says, Jude 22:23. That does not support what you said to me. Why would a Christian hate the sinner even if they're going to hell? Isn't that between them and God? Aren't you as a Christian meant to walk in the light and be a good example? Can you show me a scripture where it says sin will go to hell? So yeah, this guy, and then he leaves another comment. Sunday school and VeggieTales make Play-Doh Christians. I think that might have been his last comment. He might have left another one. I can scroll for a minute. No, yeah, I think that's his last comment. He might have left more, to be fair, but I think that's his last one. So when I see someone leaving like multiple comments, like live updating their commentary on my videos, it's usually a pretty good sign that they're not all there. And when someone is not all there and they hate me, it tends to be really fucking funny, okay? If you're curious, Jude 22, be merciful to those who doubt. 23, save others by snatching them from the fire. To others, show mercy, mixed with fear, hating even the clothing stained by corrupted flesh. Yeah, it's understandable why, like, conservatives like this guy who use Christianity as like a reason or a justification divinely to hate, it kind of makes sense why he wouldn't interpret it or anything that Jesus says in like the compassionate way, right? It's more of like the fire and brimstone, like worship Jesus as your Lord and that's all that matters kind of Christianity. Anyway, I actually decided to click on his YouTube channel. He's got a massive 5 subscribers. And his profile picture is like, I don't know, him with his family or something. Every time I see like a conservative account where it's like their profile picture is like a family photo or something, I always cringe at it because it's like, why the fuck do you care so much that people on the internet think that you've got like a happy family? Like how dysfunctional and how much of a loser are you that you desperately need the world to know that you've got a happy family? Because that honestly makes it look like you might not, in my opinion. I don't know. I don't want to levy any accusations, but it's just like, It just seems fake, you know what I mean? Anyway, I decided let's check out a couple of this guy's videos. And a couple of them seem normal, but then you've got "The Bible Will Expose You" and "You're Born That Way." Let's go ahead and check these out. Let's see what this guy, who has been leaving... Oh, he's got neck tattoos. Let's go! This guy makes some good life choices, clearly. I'm sure his politics and his world beliefs are absolutely worth taking seriously. Not shit-talking people with neck tattoos, by the way. I'm just saying, not a great choice, generally. Not often do I consider that a great choice in terms of decision-making. It's not usually too conducive with success and positive outcomes. But yeah, let's go ahead and watch this guy. Let's hear what he has to say. His reasoning must be infallible. Have we found the new critter?
Honor and glory to our Lord and risen Savior.
Hold on. It's quiet as fuck. Hold on. Let me volume boost this because he has not figured out audio yet in this video, it seems. He's not quite figured out how audio works. It's okay though.
All praise,
we pray,
honor, and glory to our Lord and risen Savior.
Amen, brother. Amen. Hallelujah.
Right there is just giving him praise. That was his name. I just breathed his name.
Yep. I'm feeling Jesus inside me, bro.
You get it if you don't. Google it. Read about it. Or I'll make another video one day and teach you about it.
I love when, like, someone is leaving hate comments on my videos, and they have videos on their channel of themselves that I can watch, because it's always something like this, guys. I find stuff like this all the time from people who leave, like, hate comments on my stuff. Like, this is what my haters are like. I need you to understand. Like, why do you never take, like, criticism and hate towards you seriously, Zan? Why do you generally just ignore it? This is what my haters are like. The vast majority of my haters are like this. And sometimes they even have videos where they upload themselves and they are just like this. I decided, you know what? It's about time I gave my own audience a peek into, like, the people who are going after me and criticizing me. You know, just to get a look at, like, the comments I receive and who's sending them to me. And here's an example.
I'm going to talk about I get on here sometimes get just flustered and don't even remember what I'm going to talk to y'all about.
I do respect that he's just doing, like, yard construction while recording the video.
You're born this way. God made you this way. As far as, like, you know, sin, homosexuality, which is sodomy.
Okay, this is so quiet. I have to volume boost this even more. I have to use, not only am I using the better YouTube volume booster that's built in, so you can, like, volume boost any video, I'm now using my my browser's built-in volume booster. And hopefully this should allow the video to be audible.
Just complete sexual immorality. No, you were born that way. Because you the fall of Adam, born into sin. So yeah, you're definitely born homosexual, sodomy, the tendency to do those things. Absolutely. 100%. So when Christians are like, God made you that way, it's okay to be gay. That's just telling them that God's okay with that? Come on, think about that.
It's so interesting looking at, like, Christians arguing with each other, you know? Because my understanding is that, like, we're all made of, like, a little bit of God. We're made in, like, his image. So, like, the implication of that wording, I understand to mean we're meant to look like him. Like, Yahweh, the Christian God, looks like a human, is essentially, like, what that line seems to imply. Like that's at least how I read it. But not only that, but, like, he made us from him, right? Like, correct me if I'm not wrong, or if I'm wrong, but, like, isn't humanity made from God? Like every human is made up a little bit, like, of God, basically. So when you argue that a human is inherently evil for their supposed sin, you could actually perceive that, at least in my understanding of the Bible, as heresy. Because, like, all humans are supposed to be of God, not just in his image, but, like, also, like, of God, literally.
No. It's not okay to be the way that you were born into sin. You have to die to yourself and completely be self-absorbent, be self-aware of who you are, where you're at, your surroundings, who's around you. That's just common sense. Hopefully your parents raised you well enough to know your environments that you're around and how to...
Raised at Southern Baptist Christian, the whole made in his image is not often considered literally. It's more of a metaphor, is how I was raised. That's so weird. Why would people cherry pick what to take literally and what to take as like allegory from the Bible? Why would you assume there's any allegory in the Bible if you're a Christian? That's one of the things I just can't vibe with Christianity, because there is no Christianity. There's like countless sects of it, and even within those sects, there are countless different churches and individuals who believe they're like the real Christians, who have the actual real interpretation. It's like, Jesus Christ, dude. I know half of them don't even believe in Jesus. Well, they do, but not like in the Son of God way. But like, fuck, dude.
Conduct yourself. That's basic. Fathers should be teaching that to their children. Oh. Yeah, I don't know if y'all didn't understand me, I'm basically saying that you are born into sin, which has the tendencies to lead down the depravity of whatever sin takes you to. It's pretty deep. Take a ride with me, I'll tell you all about it.
Take a ride with me, I'll tell you all about it.
But you're born into it. You're a sinner. Vipers in diapers. Day one.
Vipers and diapers?
Only way out of it is accept the blood of Jesus Christ for what he did at the cross of Calvary. That's it. You don't.
It's always been so funny to me how many of these people, like, a lot of the Southern Baptist type Christians, and you know that's what this guy is. He's definitely like a Baptist. He's definitely, in the South, and he might even be part of like a Southern Baptist church, but he's definitely a Baptist. So you know for a fact this guy is under the line of belief that accepting Jesus into his heart is what truly would make him worthy of the kingdom of heaven. My understanding isn't like nobody in heaven yet besides like a few select people, by the way. Like my understanding, at least in most interpretations of Christianity, is that like heaven isn't currently really like occupied. Like people don't die and then go to heaven because like the gates, so to say, aren't open yet. Like there's supposed to be like the rapture or something that like where everyone gets let in if they're supposed to go in, right? That's not the Southern Baptist version. What do they believe? Regardless, like the whole like asking for forgiveness from Jesus thing, like you're already born a sinner, and like a lot of these people, listen, I grew up in the South. A lot of these like Jesus forgives type people are just the worst of the worst pieces of shit that use the idea of Jesus's forgiveness as like a way of promising to themselves that there isn't going to be karma or like justice for the horrible behavior that they behave in. Like they think that because they accept Jesus and they ask for forgiveness, that they're being a piece of shit is going to be forgiven and they're going to get to go to heaven, right? Or that God loves them anyway and no like earthly mortal justice will come for their bad behaviors. So many Christian conservative dudes like that, particularly dudes, not always dudes, but a lot of dudes that I've known in the South. Oh my God. Rapture is everyone remaining gets harvested. Okay. I thought there's like some sect of Christianity that doesn't think that anyone's in heaven yet. I don't know like the specifics, but I thought I heard that.
Do that. You don't confess that Jesus Christ is Lord, King, God Almighty. The worker that did all work for salvation to cover your soul on the day of judgment.
God is a cat? Well, actually, according to J.R.R. Tolkien, the devil is a cat. Anyone? No. Okay. God, I should honestly do like a live streamed reading of the like pre-canon lore. Tolkien, it's so silly.
Great. We can talk about that another time. I lay down what I lay down. Stop telling the homosexual sodomites, the sinners, that God made them that way.
But he did.
He didn't.
But he did though. But like even in the Christian interpretation, he literally did though. But he did though. If he existed and the Bible's right, he did that. He gave them those desires to overcome, you could argue, but he still made them born that way by definition in the Bible. Mind you, like, this guy's mad about other Christians becoming more gay positive because the church is dying, particularly among female attendees. I can guarantee you this guy's church is probably about 90 to 80% men in the pews. There are a lot of Christian churches, especially right now, that are struggling to get family that go to the church, to get particularly younger female members of the family to go. Even mothers are not wanting to go to church anymore because the churches themselves as a community and the religion itself just not super positive and accepting of women. And yeah, Christianity is currently seeing a massive drop in female, attendance or membership. And it's actually seeing a spike among younger men. Younger men are getting more religious than they have been over time, but on the inverse, younger women are getting less religious in terms of Christianity and stuff. They're getting more spiritual, actually, but they're gravitating towards, and this shouldn't surprise you, astrology. There's literally statistical, massive correlation with Gen Z women abandoning Christianity in exchange for astrology. And it's why astrology is so popular with, I'd say probably 16 to 25-year-old women now these days. So astrology with women is replacing the spirituality of Christianity in the younger generations. It's better than fundamentalist Christianity, I guess.
The fall of man and sin, and that stamp of Adam on every soul that's ever made, sinner, that will lead down to depravity that that is mass with such beauty you don't even realize how deep you are into it. But some of y'all just want to walk around blind, and that's fine. Just know that Jesus Christ of Nazareth is the only way to paradise, heaven, whatever your religion talks about being a reincarnation. Just let you know you ain't coming back after you die. Your soul goes on with Christ if you believe in Jesus Christ. If not, hellfire damnation for you. That's all he came preaching.
Yeah, I mean, what if I want to go to hell, bro? No, legitimately, what if I want to go to hell? Ton of people I hate are going to be there. What if I want to, fuck with them forever? What if heaven's, super gay? What if you're not allowed to fuck or do drugs or, if you're not allowed to sin in heaven, it's got to suck, right? Because sloth is a sin. Being lazy is a sin. So you can't go to heaven and just relax all day. It's not really paradise, right? It can't be. So many of the things that make life enjoyable, that just make existing fun and enjoyable, are sins. So, heaven itself can't really be that fun or cool. It's just not hell. But then at the end of the day, I mean, hell doesn't sound that bad, right? I'd say more, modern interpretations of hell are so bad that it's made the traditional fire and brimstone hell, so much less scary. So many Christian kids had trauma around, learning about hell growing up. And it's yeah, pretty scary idea, I guess. But man, there's some media that has way more terrifying interpretations. Have you ever read the creepypasta Feed the Pig? After reading that, you're oh, I would love to take a nice pleasant stroll through Dante's Inferno after reading that. Jesus Christ. That's so much worse than the traditional concept of hell.
I love y'all. Just give it to Christ. Lay it down at the cross.
Skibbity Christ. That's what I heard there.
You don't need a psychiatrist. You don't need a girlfriend. You don't need a pillow talk. Because all it does is cause confusion.
You don't need a psychiatrist or a girlfriend. You just need Jesus. I love that. You don't need a psychiatrist. You just need Jesus. Like I said, guys, the constant, multi-commenting, back-to-back on my videos, one of the most, effective and guaranteed tells if someone is in, a weird mental state out there, man. I don't want to get too ableist, but, man, the mentally well people don't watch a YouTube video and leave a comment in real time responding to every argument the video makes. It's is such a weird behavior I see people doing. And whenever I look into those people, like, I just get morbidly curious. I always discover a critter like this. This video was awful because I couldn't really hear anything being said in it, but he has uploaded another video called The Bible Will Expose You. And this is what I actually took a look at before stream to decide whether or not I wanted to talk about this. And this was the one that I actually, like, found to be high enough quality that it'd be worth responding to. I thought maybe that other one would be good because I hadn't seen it yet, but this one I know is actually good to dunk on. Are you guys ready? Let's hop in. Let's see what this little critter has to offer.
Our dear most heavenly gracious Father, Lord Jesus, we love you. We thank you. Lord, just give us the wisdom, the guidance. So
Amen.
Keep us
Hallelujah.
on that straight and narrow path.
Praise Jesus.
Love you. Thank you for everything you do. In Jesus' name. Amen.
So true.
Now the Bible is the greatest book ever.
Well, okay,
What it does,
come on. Don't glaze it, all right? Like, the Bible's, like, pretty solid storytelling, but I'd say its prequels, The Silmarillion and Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit, I'd say they kind of mog it, not gonna lie. Like, I'd say, like, dude, man, The Silmarillion, fuck, it beats the Bible. Like, the Bible's a good sequel, and it was cool that it got made, but, man, the originals are just where it's at. If you don't know, by the way, that's real. Like, the in the world of Tolkien's writing, The Silmarillion, The Hobbit, and Lord of the Rings are prequels to the Bible. That's not even a fucking joke. I'm not even joking. Google it if you don't believe me. Tolkien literally wrote letters saying that Jesus Christ was born in the 6th age, I believe, and his death and resurrection started the 7th age. So we would be currently in the year 2024 of the 7th age, currently. Assuming, like, some event that's happened recently wouldn't have, I guess, started a new age of the world. But yeah, like, literally, in Tolkien's writing, it's supposed to be, like, all the real history and past, and it takes place before the writings of the Bible. That's Tolkien's writing. So I personally prefer the prequels to the Bible. I think they're better, but, you know, he's a fan. I'll let him enjoy his fandom. Hey, chat. Since the Bible is actually made up of multiple books, does that mean that, like, Christians are multi-fandom?
take you and break you. It also exposes you at your very core, your very heart. It exposes the depth and depravity of your heart. When you're reading the Bible and you
I love his vape
and
in his hat.
The story of Lot. And
the story of Lot?
Go back further than that, but the story of Lot.
Okay. The story of Lot. There's no way he can properly tell the story of Lot in the next minute and a half, okay? So I'm just going to tell you that story. The story of Lot and Sodom and Gomorrah is basically the ultimate foreshadowing of what will happen when aliens come to Earth, okay? Because what happens in that story is God sends two angels down to the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah. I think specifically they go to Sodom. And they meet a guy named Lot there. He's a chill dude. He invites them in. He washes their feet. He provides them hospitality and food, and he's very nice to them. But because the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah are degenerate, they immediately pull up and they want to rape the angels. Like, they don't just want to fuck the angels. They want to rape the angels. Like, Lot's got to outright say, I'm not letting you rape my guests. Sorry, guys. Get out of here. No raping today. And so they fuck off, and the angels are like, listen, Lot, you're pretty cool. God's going to annihilate these two cities because they're, like, awful, and the people here are awful. And they were, to be fair. Like, it wasn't just that, like, they were sodomites. They were also, they tried to rape angels, right? Like they were pretty awful. And so the angels tell him, get out of there, take your wife, take your kids, and just leave. And don't look back. Do not look back, or God is going to pull one of his classic trademark pranks. And when God plays a prank on you, he's the only one who finds it funny. So you need to just listen to what we tell you here, because God does not, in any way, shape, or form, flexible with his demands in these contexts. Lot's wife, because the Bible and women are written to be stupid and naggy in the Bible. In fact, the word nag is used a lot in the Bible, if you didn't know, and always in reference to women. Lot's wife, because dumb woman, turns and looks at the city as God is like smiting it off the face of the planet, and because God would find it funny, turns her into a giant pillar of salt. And like the angels warned, no one else found it funny but God. And so Lot and his wives venture off into the hills, where his, or not his wives, his daughters, proceed to venture off into the hills, where they proceed to get him drunk and basically roofie him. Like, they get him wasted, like absolutely fucked up, dude. And then they rape him. I don't know what the moral of the story is. I guess they had to. I guess they had to start a new population of humans, actually, because so many humans died. There's a lot of points in the Bible where like humanity gets like wiped out to like 1/10 of its population. Everyone's got to go back to fucking to make more humans again, so God can like wipe out more humans. Or another character in the Bible, empowered by God, can go kill like thousands more humans, like 1/10 of the population at the time. Anyway, that aside, that's the end of the story. The Lot does everything right and is just a chill guy and gets date raped for it, basically, is the moral of the story. Like, that is literally just what happens, and I don't know why that is a story in the Bible. And they keep it out of the Sunday schools, as you can imagine. You're usually pretty old by the time you hear that one. Does that mean Adam and Eve's kids did the incest? Dude, yeah. Dude, there's so much incest in the timeline of humanity according to the Bible, it's insane. Because there's so many points where, like, here's the human population, God kills so many people, or someone else kills so many people, it gets down to here, then everyone's got to fuck and bring it back out to here. But then it keeps getting, like, there's so many layers of inbreeding according to the Bible in humans, it's insane. Oh, to be fair, that is, okay, I did forget that fact to Ride the Rails. Lot offered his daughters to be raped instead, and then they raped him back. Okay, you know what? The people who wrote the Bible were fucking weird, man. Can we just say that? Can we just say that I don't care how long ago it was, but if you're writing stories like that, you're a fucking freak. Like, you're a fucking weirdo. The dudes who wrote the Bible were weird, man. They were fucking weird, and their weird, pent-up, like, horny sexual repression became evident at several points in the Bible. Let's be real. New and Old Testament.
Where, two men came in and they're looking to the town, and the people of the town, especially the men and young men, surrounded the house trying to get to the angels, basically to
oh, he is telling the story.
do some nasties with them, you know, men on men type things. And so when you're driven to those things into the Bible and you want to use that as a way to, oh, look how bad the Bible is.
Well, once again, see how he leaves out the most important thing? They wanted to rape the angels. It wasn't that they were there to, like, riz up the angels consensually and be respectful to them. Mind you, I don't think it's actually good to ever try to fuck an angel in the Bible. I think that's, like, instantly you're on God's shit list if you do that. But, maybe not. Regardless, they were trying to, like, assault them. That's why they were so bad. Like, the people in the city of Sodom and Gomorrah, gay sex was so far down on the list of, like, degenerate shit they were doing. Like, they were basically just the city of, like, the most fucked up kinks you could find on any internet porn site. So it was everything from, like, the weirdest, most, like, and we kink shame here, okay? We kink shame sometimes, right? Just the weird shit, okay? Like, I'm pretty sure they were all in defeat. That immediately justifies getting, like, nuked off the face of the planet, those two cities. So, like, yeah. They were weird, all right? They were weird, and it wasn't because they were gay. I don't even think the Bible was claiming their worst sin was being gay. I don't even think even the Bible was suggesting that's why they had to go.
God was right, you want to do these things. No, it's just exposing you and the depravity in your heart. God didn't say any of that stuff was allowed. Humans did it because of the fall, the sin nature that we have.
Now this was the sin of your sister Sodom. She and her sisters were arrogant, overfed, and her daughters were arrogant, overfed, and unconcerned. They did not help the poor and needy. 50 they were haughty and did detestable things before me. Therefore I did away with them, as you have seen. Funny how fundies don't talk about the actual reason for God wiping out Sodom and Gomorrah. Yeah, because once again, the Bible does at times basically suggests socialism is good and caring about poor people is good, and the right only cares about poor people insofar as they can weaponize like homeless veterans to suggest we should not spend money on other things, but then they never actually let you spend money on homeless veterans.
So that's what the Bible will do. So when somebody's attacking the Bible and they're like, oh, look at slavery, look at this, look at rape, look at incest, it shows you
Yeah, there's a lot of that there. It shows the depths of their soul.
That's all I got to say, Lord. I thank you for just your wonderful gift of just knowledge and understanding of what we are to do as humans, and as it exalts your holy and precious name.
So I think we have now found, like, what audience is watching Matt Walsh? Like, who are the people that watch Matt Walsh as he, like, flatly and dryly attempts to push conservative propaganda from a hateful Christian perspective? Who's watching that boring-ass bullshit? Because, like, I am so bored by Matt Walsh, I'm surprised he has an audience. It must just be the production value and, like, ads being paid for by Daily Wire getting him out there, right? But these are the guys that are watching that shit. If you're ever wondering, like, who is sitting through Matt Walsh videos? Guys like this, apparently. This dude's a Matt Walsh fan that was upset at me calling him out. So not only is this a good look at my average hater, if you're ever wondering, like, what do they look like? What do the commenters shit-talking me in the comment section, what do they like if you look at their channels and what they post? This is it. And also, if you're ever wondering what a Matt Walsh fan looks like, this is it. They're fucking weird. There's a lot of weirdos online, and they gravitate around other weirdos. That's how such blatantly awful, grifty, hateful people are able to build such a massive audience online. They attract their ilk. Anyway, guys, with that all said, if you enjoyed this segment, please do consider dropping a like. Every single thumbs up, no matter when, where, or what you drop it on, actually forces YouTube in real time to push my content in the algorithm to a wider and larger audience, and it really does help a ton. New viewers, new subs, it really, really means a lot, and it's totally free too. And of course, don't forget to comment down below if you want to help compound the benefit of that like. It really does help a lot when you comment, as does subscribing and ringing the bell icon to make sure YouTube actually tells you when I go live or upload new videos. And of course, don't forget, if you want to see more from me on other platforms, you can follow my social medias, linked down below in the description. And finally, or not finally, but almost finally, if you want to be a part of my community, like, the most, you can join the main hub of my fan base, my fan Discord, link in the description and totally free to join. I host game events, call-in streams, and watch parties in my Discord server. In fact, right after stream, pretty soon, I'm going to be doing a watch party of us starting The Walking Dead to celebrate Halloween month and get into that spooky vibe. I do hope to see a lot of you guys there, by the way. So make sure you join the Discord if you haven't already, because, you know, the seats are finite, and it's first come, first serve. So if we end up having a really big watch party, you don't want to end up being left out because you don't get there fast enough. So do try to show up early if you plan to make it, because you never know how many seats are going to be taken. There's only like 150 slots, and eventually it's going to start to fill up. Like, eventually, one day, these watch parties are going to start to get to be like, man, there's not enough slots for everybody who wants to be a part of them. And it's really going to be first come, first serve. So just in case, try to show up early if you can. Anyway, with that said, finally, if you want to support me a little extra, go the extra mile to help me keep the lights on and a roof above my head here at the Xander Hall studio, then please consider donating, subscribing, or gifting a sub on my website, xanderhall.com/live, or supporting me through YouTube, Twitch, Streamlabs, Stream Elements, Patreon, or buying merch at the Streamlabs link down below. Regardless of how you support me, though, even if you're just a lurker watching the streams and not saying anything, thank you, and I hope to see you again. How do you guys like that segment? I feel like it came out really good, guys. I feel like it's pretty solid. Alright. Oh no, you got a Charlie horse ash room? That sucks. I'm sorry. Those are the worst. Alright, I've got one more segment for us today. I know, a bit of a short stream, but I started a bit late and we've got watch party to do later today. Or after stream. So, yeah, I've got one more segment for us today, but afterwards, it's going to be watch party time, so I hope you guys are ready. It's going to be fun. It's going to be dope. All right.
Welcome to a...
Damn it. All right. You all know what to do when I say action, right? 3, 2, 1, action. All right, everybody. So, we have finally gotten the long-awaited news. I say long, but it's really just been like 24 hours. We have gotten the long-awaited promised court documents drop that Judge Chutkan of Trump's election interference case has promised to drop. Yesterday, we got the news that there would be this big bombshell hitting, and now it is finally released. The only problem is, usually, the most damning evidence against Trump, it's not like these exciting, overblown culture war nonsense issues that the right likes to blow up. These conspiracies about, like, Hunter Biden being a pedophile or something like that, right? Like, these things easily catch headlines and very much the allegations get around far faster than even the debunks can, because they're just such out there, insane allegations. And that's the benefit the right has in everything they say being bullshit. There's no limit to how out of pocket the things they can say for attention can be. There's never any consequences socially or tangibly for just lying in the most overt and insane way you can possibly manage to get as much attention on you as possible. So for the right, or for the left, I should say, when some massive bombshell comes out about Trump, let's just say the average voter isn't going to know shit about it unless they watch mainstream news that breaks it down in, depth, or if they're willing to read dozens, if not hundreds of pages of court documentation. This stretches all the way back to the collusion with Russia stuff that happened, where multiple of Trump's highest up, right-hand men were convicted for ties with Russia. And to this day, even, the majority of Americans think the Russiagate thing was just a hoax. That was, a character assassination on Trump. And since that point, because to find out all this damning info, you have to read court documents, the right has been able to skid by on this narrative, this completely false one, by the way, that Trump is completely innocent and that the left is constantly attacking him and trying to character assassinate him with lawfare. When in reality, it's just he is so constantly breaking the law and has such a massive criminal history, he's always having evidence coming out about him in court documents, but no one wants to read them. And if no one wants to read them, then it's easy to lie about their contents. But that's not going to be happening today, because we got a video here from Midas Touch. Pretty good political news coverage channel I've found. They are definitely pretty biased to the left, and obviously that might sound like a good thing, but I have found that sometimes their coverage can be a little sensationally, like I'll see the title and I'll be like, whoa, dude, that's crazy, and then I'll click it and it's like, okay, well they're overblowing it a little bit here because they know that this agrees with the perspective of a lot of people on the left, but isn't necessarily a completely accurate depiction of what's happening. It's a little exaggeratory. It's never false, but it's sometimes the bias is clear, right? The bias is clear. So I like Midas Touch, and reality has a liberal bias, so generally the reporting is factual, but I will say that it is a pretty biased source. If you had I don't know, a bias checker site or something, an independent bias checker site, I'm pretty sure they'd find Midas Touch is pretty left-leaning, which I'm happy to say, considering they've got 3.23 million subscribers. It goes to show that there is actually an audience for progressive news content online. And it does exist. I actually didn't know Midas Touch was as big as it was until recently, and it actually is one of the biggest left-wing outlets on the internet. That's not even a joke, it just is. Anyway, let's check out this video. They put this out today, just a few hours ago. Judge finally drops evidence bomb on Trump. Let's see what has come out of this, because God knows I'm not sitting down and reading the 100+ pages of court documentation, but I do want to know what's going on. I do want to know what's been found. I want to know what's up. I have to know.
Welcome to a special edition of Legal AF with Karen Friedman Agnifilo and Michael Popok, because we've gotten our hot little hands, on over 2,000 pages of evidence against Donald Trump that was required to be filed by Judge Chutkan of the DC election interference case as part of her process in the public to review the superseding indictment against the immunity decision by the United States Supreme Court and make her ultimate ruling. There's no other way to do it but that in the public, because the public has access and has a right to access to all of this information, subject to some redaction.
Realistically, the only positive impact this can have on the election is Trump getting arrested before the election and being in jail during it. and after. Like, besides that, this does not influence voters. If anything, it just makes Trump supporters more ironclad in their delusional belief that any legal consequences for Trump's lawbreaking is just lawfare the Dems and the libs are going after him with to attack him, right? So many of them say, they word for word, they grade Trump on a curve. Trump does a bad thing, and Biden does an equally bad thing. Like, that literally just means they consider it worse for Biden to have done it than for Trump to have done it. No reason. They just outright state they grade Trump on a curve. Because I guess if you word it that way, it sounds reasonable to do that. Like, Trump, like, there's an average Trump must... It's like, it's the most bizarre shit ever. Like, they just basically admit that Trump's actions will always be seen as less bad than equal actions committed by a different person on the left. They just word it in a funny way that sounds smart. But it just means that. That's just what that means.
And some blackouts and some tape that we're going to talk about. But finally, after rejecting Donald Trump's last-minute Hail Mary, there's no other way to frame it, he was given 7 days to evaluate his litigation options, and the best he could come up with was to file a ridiculous bit of gibberish at the last minute yesterday, asking the judge, pretty please, can you just not publish this until after the election? I mean, basically what he was asking for, and the judge took one look at it, did a little Heisman move with the...
What's so funny about this, by the way, is that Trump has been delaying this for years now. Like, actual years now, Trump has been delaying this, and he's been doing it because he wanted it to be after this election. But the judge has stopped it and is now forcing all this to go public weeks before the election. Trump fucked himself, pushed this as much as possible, hoping to get it past the election, and instead it's locked in and stuck as close to the election as it could reasonably be without being effectively after it. Trump really tried to wiggle out of this having any impact on the election or being seen before the election, and it just completely fucked him. He delayed it way too much. He should have had this all happen like years ago if he was smart. People would have memory hold it by now.
The special counsel, I got this, and said, no. And I am immediately, or at least when the clerk shows up tomorrow morning today and her cup of coffee, I'm going to give her a couple of minutes. She's going to publish the entirety. We now know, and having now gotten into it, there's 4 volumes. It's pushing over between, I think it's like 1,500 to 2,000 total pages. The volumes are broken down into sort of groups of information, categories of information. And to be clear, we're going to give a high-level review, Karen and me, right here, of what we were able to pick out in just about an hour of going through thousands and thousands of pages, many of them redacted, but others not. We're going to be doing deep dive hot takes.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure, unless you've got like a superhuman reading speed, I don't know if it's been long enough since the files released for us to have anyone who's read every last bit of it yet. Like, I think maybe by tomorrow morning someone will have, but I don't think anyone's a fast enough reader to have finished the thousands of pages by now. It depends on, like, the font and spacing and everything. Like, maybe it's just really inefficient on paper, but, like, I don't know. I'm imagining really small, like, confined text, you know? Like, a bit of a hard read. That's kind of what I'm picturing right now. Do we have a link, actually, to the files themselves? Court files, Judge Chutkan. Is this it? That's not it. New York Times have a link to the whole thing? Oh, come on, New York Times. No, the paywall! Okay, nope, we're never going to find it. I forgot. So many of the top news sites, because they pay Google to put them at the top, they hit you at the paywall right away. It's such like a scummy, like system they've got going. Like, they pay Google to be the top result for any news thing you look up. You click it, immediately you're hit with a paywall after seeing like 5 ads, and then it's like, oh, okay, so not only do I have to see the ads, but then you also hit me with a paywall so I can't read the page anyway, and so you make as much money as possible. Especially, like, it's so scummy.
Network, including with Ben and others and Karen and me, and on Legal AF MTN, the new channel that we created almost for this moment in order to capture all of this law and politics stuff and do it over there. So between the two, by the weekend is over, you will know every bit of detail and morsel that we pick up. But we picked up some fun things in the last hour, so we wanted to come on really quickly as breaking news and not keep you in suspense any longer. Karen, let me turn it over to you. You got it first. You had a chance to kind of go through the first pass of 1 through 4 volumes. Why don't you kind of give an overview, high-level overview of what you found interesting already, about it, and then I'll do my part in that. And then we'll, like I said, this is a series. We're going to be doing a series of episodic hot takes that by the end of them, by the time you've watched all 7 or 8 of them, you will know exactly what a level and amounts of evidence against Donald Trump there really is. I think he's dead to rights.
So this was a huge, huge data dump that Jack Smith has done in support of his memory.
The problem is, if there's no real legal consequence, as it might have some effect on the electorate, but like the problem is that I just don't see voters being influenced that much, because everyone, it seems like, and I could be wrong, but it seems like most people who supported Kamala/Biden always did. Really, like as soon as they were the nominees, they did. And that Trump has just had his set base that's like granted shrunk a bit, but like I don't know if Trump's base has grown a significant amount. It seems like it's shrinking. Like his fundamental, like most hardcore supporters. So I don't know. Maybe the Republicans who just believe that they believe his like talking points and they vote for him because he's the Republican candidate. Maybe less of those people are going to end up being involved because they think he's crooked. It's really hard to tell until the election happens, right? Like, he could end up getting bigger total numbers than he's had in any of the previous 2 elections, right?
Memorandum that he filed describing all of the evidence and all of the reasons why the evidence is not subject to this new legal doctrine created by the United States Supreme Court in July of this year called presidential immunity. This is exactly what the United States Supreme Court told them to do. They ordered this judge to review every possible piece of evidence and say, is this something that is part of President Trump's core presidential duties, and therefore he would be immune from prosecution for that conduct, and Jack Smith cannot use any evidence that would be subject to this immunity. And so he instructed this analysis. And so Jack Smith filed this huge memo that was 180 something pages long, and it was very substantive, and it talked about in detail all of the evidence, everything that's going to come in. It was like an opening statement almost. This is what I anticipate the evidence to show. But like an opening statement at trial, it has to be backed up by the evidence, right? It's not enough to just say this is what the evidence is. You have to back it up. And so that's what an appendix is. And the appendix was very...
So this is one of the things that's really frustrating. No undecided voters are going to read the thousands of pages of court documents. I think that it's most important. I think as we get more of this stuff unredacted, oh my God, what is up with my fucking burping? Jesus. I feel like what needs to be done is, as stuff gets unredacted, we need the most damning evidence itself to be headlines. The Republicans are so good at making up something really crazy and out of pocket and turning it into a talking point or a headline that you cannot escape. It's everywhere, all over your home pages and being shoved down your throat as if it's a real serious story. And then it always ends up being bullshit, and then they forget about it. They memory hole the fact that something that was supposed to be the biggest bombshell ever for the 100 billionth time didn't pan out, and they memory hole it, right? Hell, if they get proven to be completely wrong, they create a new conspiracy to make their claims being disproven actually evidence that they were even more right than they previously claimed. A really good example of this, cognitive dissonance in Republican voters, is Floridians in the wake of Hurricane Milton. A lot of them are saying, this is just including DeSantis, are saying that this has nothing to do with climate change. The climate alarmists are just trying to freak you out. And that this is just crazy tropical weather, and Floridians are used to this. The conservative people in Florida who have had their houses destroyed are working on rebuilding them in the exact same spots, believing the worst is well behind us. This climate change shit ain't real. It's just some crazy tropical weather. Seems like we probably got another 100 years before another storm like this comes along. Glad we got it out of the way. They don't know that this is part of a trend that's only getting worse, and that when they rebuild, they'll be lucky if another hurricane doesn't flood their house before they're finished remodeling. That it's genuinely getting that frequent and that bad. And I'm not joking or exaggerating when I say that. So yeah, these people will find a way to like they did with the hurricane, where they turned it into a conspiracy about the Democrats controlling the weather to try and kill Republicans before the election. right? Like Marjorie Taylor Greene, a bunch of other big conservative posters were claiming this. Yeah. They'll get proven that they'll have evidence come out like ironclad that Trump is a piece of shit, all these court documents that he's like guilty. And they see it's that all that stuff's existence is further evidence that Trump is the best and that the swamp is going after him because he cares about the American people. And that's his only crime, guys. That's his only crime is he just cares so much about the American people. And if they can do it to him, then they can do it to anybody. If they could charge you for trying to subvert the U.S. election, they can do it to anybody, guys.
Very much, this is the evidence backing up the words in the memo. That was Jack Smith's opening statement of what his trial is going to be, what he expects the evidence to show. And so we've been waiting for this evidence because, again, it's one thing to say this is what happened, right? You've got Jack Smith saying one thing, you've got Trump claiming something else. So show me the evidence. Let's see what it is. Back it up with proof. That's what a trial is for. And that's what's going to happen. And so we've been anticipating and waiting for this for a while. And as you said, Popok, there's 4 volumes, thousands of pages, and they group them in types of documents. And a lot of it, first of all, when sometimes things are redacted, you see lots of words on pages, and you'll see like a sentence blacked out. This is very different. This has page after page after page. That's just blank.
Holy
it says
shit.
redacted, that the pages are sealed. And so they're just white pieces of paper throughout, a couple pure black pieces of paper, and then some blacked out of names and any personal identifying information. Now, we're not surprised that this was heavily redacted because Jack Smith said in this memo that a lot's going to be redacted. And so, it's interesting because Donald Trump, as you said, did this last ditch, don't put this out into the world. We don't want this out there until ours comes out. It'll be very one-sided. It's just very interesting because prosecutors don't really want to do this either. Jack Smith doesn't want to show all his evidence to everybody and let everyone pick it apart.
It's obviously the right is going to immediately jump to get like hyper defensive, and the allegations are going to start flying out because that's how the right gets. They don't get defensive, they get offensive. So I wonder, is there just not really going to be like I'm going to honestly say right now, I don't predict what comes out from these court documents having any real impact on Trump. Like so much so to the extent that Trump might barely, if at all, respond to what comes out. Partially, I think it's just the fact that the information is so deep, and on another hand, I think it's that, like, man, the American people don't really seem to give a shit if Trump specifically is colluding with another country or trying to overturn democracy. It almost seems like the consideration is that, of course, Trump is a sore loser who will try to steal the election. That's a given. But why else should we dislike him, right? That's kind of the way that a lot of Trump supporters operate. Like, yeah, he is that, but why else should I dislike him? I'm okay with that. A lot of them will literally just own it to that level. Have you seen Trump supporters bite the bullet like that? Because they'll do it. They'll outright say, well, yeah, but that's not a deal breaker. If they genuinely, truly can't defend something, they'll just outright do that, because that is part of the whole grading Trump on a curve thing. I just don't think this changes any votes, Like, hell, the American people have had the court documents from the Paul Manafort shit, like multiple, I forget what the like name that's ascribed to the Russia shit. Like, everybody knows that whole court thing by a particular name. It was the original claim of Trump's campaign colluding with Russia. Multiple of his campaign members and like higher-ups got convicted, found guilty. They were knowingly. Well, yeah, I think it was the Steele dossier. Thank you. But I think it was what that came from, like what resulted in that coming out, the court case. But yeah, like that's been out for years now, like years and years and years, and nobody. Yes, the Mueller report. Thank you. Yeah, the Mueller report, the Steele dossier. These court, even the court papers, like the files from all that have been out for years now, and like the American people don't care. The Russia collusion thing is thought of as a hoax or just like a tree not worth barking up by even a lot of Democrat voters. And that's why I don't think these like bombshells that are unfortunately like ironclad legal documentation are anywhere near as effective as the bullshit the right just pulls out of their ass, makes people believe for like 2 weeks, gets disproven, and then memory holes it. Like the Haitians thing, right? The Haitians eating dogs thing, it's already been memory holed. I told you that was what was going to happen. When it all hit, like the day that started to be a thing, I predicted how it was all going to go. There's a few videos that probably seem to depict what is being claimed here. There's probably like a video of like a homeless woman having a mental breakdown and like killing a dog or something that went viral on the internet. That got turned into a narrative about Haitian people kidnapping and eating dogs and cats. And then the right ran with it. They're going to repeat it for as long as they can. It'll get debunked and shat on and then turn out to be completely untrue, which it did way faster than I expected because J.D. Vance admitted that it was made up and false. And then it's already memory hold. I predicted that within 2 weeks of that claim getting disproven, they would memory hole it, and no one would be talking about it anymore. There have been so many similar situations where they just run with something insane, it gets debunked, and then they memory hole it. Everyone forgets. They just they just throw so much shit at the wall that you can't remember it anymore. There's so much shit you can't keep track of all of their nonsense, right?
Prosecutors don't love to give over all their evidence in advance. You want to save it for trial. This is going to give Trump a huge opportunity to prep, to know what witnesses are saying, to tailor his testimony potentially. I mean, you just never know. So it's just funny to me that somehow Trump thinks this is something Jack Smith wants to do. I didn't get that impression. And the reason I say this is because I think he over-redacted. I think he redacted more than he probably needed to. And I think he was acting like a cautious prosecutor who's like, I don't need everything out in the open. I can describe what it is, but I don't need everyone picking apart every last word and having this tried in the court of public opinion, much to our chagrin, right? We would all love that.
Yeah, once again, any playing kid gloves with Trump is just bad. Like, Trump would never impart the same charitability, right? Like, Trump is the kind of person who takes advantage of the system having procedures to get away with, like, not having any justice done on him. At a certain point, like, the reason RICO charges exist is because we recognize a criminal individual and might be part of an organization that is so corrupt and with so many connections that, like, through normal legal processes, you can't charge them and find them guilty despite everyone knowing they're part of a criminal enterprise. That's why RICO charges exist, which is what Trump was hit with. It's so that you can do a deeper dive and figure out connections and, like, a stronger case that isn't so locked in with a procedure and can consider the context of a broader conspiracy, which might work to keep a guilty individual from being found guilty, and has in the past, by the way.
So there's a lot.
I'm pretty sure RICO charges were specifically invented or were introduced into law to fight the mob, by the way. Like, that's why I'm pretty sure they first came to be a thing, was so that the US government could go after the mob, because the mob was so effective in making sure that no single person could get pinned too badly and have connections to the organization. And there was just, they gamed it out, knowing the system and how to fuck with it. They would make sure to divide work and just plan things out in such a way where it made it very hard for the US government to go after the mob. And they had to introduce certain ways of conducting investigations and trials in order to consider the amount of corruption, connections, and sliminess that the mob would operate on. And Trump uses those same exact mob tactics. Like, he was literally thought of as like a modern day, like, real estate, like, mobster guy. That was his persona before he was the president guy.
A lot of redactions, and then some stuff that we saw were things that have already been part of the public record. Newspaper articles, tweets that we've seen, press release.
Also, in every whistleblower that has, like, been part of Trump's team or known him behind the scenes says that he talks like, he and his, like, goons, his literal goons, talk like mobsters. I'm not even joking. They're like, yeah, Mr. Trump's not going to like that very much. We should probably move this. We don't want the boss to see it. They call him the boss, by the way. They literally, like a fucking mobster's goons, they call him the boss. And you know, because he's in New York, and it's at, like, Trump Tower, they got that New York accent. And they're like, oh, we got to move this before the boss gets here.
This is Mike Pence's book. They've highlighted portions of his book, and there's lots of pages of that. And you ask yourself, so why would they put that in here? Why does that need to go in here? What they're really doing is they need to identify for the court what is the evidence that they anticipate they're going to potentially introduce. So they might introduce, because what you don't want is the judge hasn't ruled on this one piece of evidence in advance. And so all of a sudden the trial has to stop because they're putting something into evidence. And like, wait a minute, judge, you didn't rule on whether this one piece of evidence is subject to presidential immunity or not. So Jack Smith is being overly cautious in every piece of evidence that he wants to put in, including things that are matters of public record, like newspaper articles and press releases and transcripts from from certain court proceedings, etc. It's all in here. And so that is what's highly unusual, but the judge has to make this determination of what's immune, what's not. Now, so in addition to a lot of redacted stuff and a lot of public stuff, there's a lot of...
I just think a disservice was done. Any possible service that this entire bombshell could have provided was undone by the redacting, in my opinion. I think as much info as could have been put out there should have been put out there. And it's just like, it's so insane to watch as Trump encourages his supporters to threaten the family of the judge, and the judge still uses kid gloves. It's like, I get you're so good at your job. Like, you're so good at doing what you are supposed to do. But this is a situation where this guy, who you know is guilty, everyone knows he's guilty, his supporters know he's guilty, they don't care. We have to pretend he's not. Play kid gloves. He will obstruct justice at every turn, and we've got to pretend like he's a special case. It's like, how has he not been found in contempt of court 15 times already? Hey, Every good to see you.
Transcript from the select committee on Jan 6. Again, things we've seen before. But, seeing it again was sort of interesting. There's also some stuff on January 4th and 5th, these lunch at the Willard Hotel, phone calls that are made, records related to various PACs, etc. And so, there was a lot in there that just you kind of are reminded of how much was going on in those days leading up to January 6th and then January 6th. And, so one of the things I thought was sort of interesting is you've got Donald Trump on January 6th talking to various people. We don't know who because the names are redacted. Someone's bringing him a Diet Coke. They're joking around, but he's watching TV and watching all this happen.
This is what I mean, yeah. He has been found in contempt multiple times, and none of it included jail time because everyone's too scared to jail him. Exactly. No judge wants to be, for the rest of their life having to look over their shoulder because, their family and them are in the, targets of one of the most fanatical, generally mentally ill collections of people on the planet. It would be like if Jeffrey Dahmer had a fan base back when he was an operating serial killer, and if everyone was too afraid to charge him because the fan base of fanatic weirdos that are obsessed with him and want to marry him would literally try to murder any prosecutor who tried to put him in prison. That is essentially the situation we're in right now. Legitimately, there's no way prosecutors and judges don't know that Trump supporters will make sure they are never, ever able to feel safe if they are the ones behind Trump going to jail. That's an unspoken realization anybody who has the opportunity to put Trump in jail has to contend with, right? That not just them, but their families will be in danger of one of the most insane and large groups of collective people in the country if they're behind taking down Trump. So to a degree, I wonder if there is any individual who would be willing to go so far as to actually put Trump in jail, because they'd never be able to feel safe again. Trump supporters would certainly never let them feel safe. I can't say they would act on, and engage in violence. I think they would, but they would certainly threaten to.
And he's just talking about it like he's watching it like a spectator and enjoying it and drinking his Diet Coke. And so it just gives you a flavor of kind of what it was like on that day to be around him, all the people coming in to try to talk to him.
I don't know why, but the idea of just the president drinking Diet Coke just sounds funny to me.
And what he was doing. But there was one piece of evidence, or one thing that came in here that really struck me. And Salty, I'm going to ask you to put up the thing that I showed you as a transcript. And it was a conversation, I don't know with who, but it's transcripts from a conversation. So the Q is question, the A is the answer. And it says, how did you learn of that? Answer, the Speaker of the House told me that I might be getting a call from the President of the United States and advised me that my display on my phone would say spam risk Egypt. That was my notification for the fact that it might be him. And question, was the Speaker of the House at the time, whoever it was? Answer, correct. And did he tell you? That you already spoken to the president about coming to the White House? Answer, I believe.
Dude, imagine being a fucking politician and suddenly you get a call on your cell phone that says spam risk Egypt. I'd be a little like, do I answer it? Who do I talk to about this? Who's calling my personal cell?
So spam risk Egypt. So if you continue on, and I don't have it up here, but if you continue on the transcript, he got a phone call from the...
Who in Egypt knows my phone number?
President of the United States, this gentleman who is testifying here in this transcript. He got a phone call and it showed up, Egypt. Okay, what does that tell me? It tells me this is the kind of stuff we used to do when I was a prosecutor. Okay, we used to see people in the mafia and drug dealers, etc., or cyber criminals. These sophisticated criminals would...
I will tell you, I did not pre-watch this shit, but yeah, like I said before, even I'm not a criminal like law expert, right? Like I don't know this shit, but everything about Trump just rings mafia stuff to me. Like it just sounds so similar to when the U.S. government was going after the mafia. It's so similar.
Spoof calls and make it come out and look at like something else so that people don't really know who's calling. And so spam risk Egypt. I don't know who thought of that, but that's how the call from the president of the United States is going to come up so that if anyone ever seizes the phone or looks at the phone, or if there's a reporter nearby and they can see the phone, it's going to come up Egypt. It's not going to come up president of the United States. I guess, maybe that's why they do things like that, but it seemed really fishy and sketchy to me. What about you, Popop?
Have you heard about NAD+? It's a molecule in every cell of your body, and it's
okay. We're not watching the ad. Sorry, guys. Sorry. No Adarino. But I do think we got the general gist of what's going on. A lot of redacted stuff. I do think that there's going to be some pretty good memes coming out of the like documents. Don't get me wrong. Like there'll probably be some damning stuff, but unfortunately, like I said before, I don't actually see it having much of an effect. Like even if they didn't redact so much, I don't know if it has much of an effect. The American people, even a lot of Dems, look at the Russia collusion stuff, despite it being ironclad, as like a tree not worth barking up. They look at it as like, maybe the right's right. Maybe conservatives and Trump supporters were right about it being legal lawfare, considering Trump never ended up in prison. But multiple of his campaign were found guilty of colluding with Russia for his campaign and went to jail for it. So it's like, because it wasn't Trump, they're able to so effectively gaslight Americans into thinking it was a nothing burger when it was actually fucking a massive. And because no one is brave enough to be behind putting Trump behind bars, responsible for it, because they probably feel like they'll never be safe again because Trump supporters are insane and retributive about these types of things. I don't think Trump's ever going to end up behind bars. And if he doesn't end up behind bars, then people will easily be gaslit into the belief that must have been a nothing burger. Must have been just going after Trump for caring about the American people. There could be a case where this stuff makes Trump look better to some middle ground voters. Because stuff like this makes it seem like, well, if the government's going after Trump, then, man, he must just really care about the American people. The government just hates the American people, never does anything good. So if they're going after Trump, then he must be the good guy. He's draining that swamp. Too many Americans think this way. Like I said before, Americans would elect Hitler himself. His corpse, his ghost, whatever you want to say, just literally Hitler, if it meant that gas prices would be $1 a gallon lower for 4 years. They would elect Hitler. Like, by a landslide, they would. It's a terrifying thought, but it's true. Anyway, guys, if you enjoyed this segment, you found it entertaining, educational, or enjoyable, then please consider leaving a like. Even if you're watching live or after the fact, every thumbs up goes a long way to, in real time, boost my channel in the algorithm and forces YouTube to push my content out to more people. So I really do appreciate it. You can also comment down below to compound the benefit of liking. It really helps a ton and means a lot to me, so I really appreciate it. And of course, you can also subscribe and ring the bell icon to turn on all notifications so YouTube actually tells you when I go live or upload new videos, because believe me, they won't do that unless you hit those buttons. And of course, if you want to see more from me on other platforms, you can follow my social medias, linked down below in the description. And of course, if you want to, be a part of my main hub of my community, you can join my fan Discord, a link down below in the description too. I host game events, call-in streams, and watch parties every week on Friday. We've been doing watch parties a lot lately. In fact, right after this segment, after stream, we are going to be doing a watch party of The Walking Dead. We're going to be starting it to help get us into the Halloween month vibes. People voted on The Walking Dead, so we're gonna be walking our dead. It's gonna be a great time. We're gonna have some damn good fun today. It's gonna be nice. But yeah, I do hope to see you guys there. It's gonna be a great time. And finally, if you want to support me directly, help me keep the lights on and the roof above my head here at the Xander Hall studio, then please consider dropping a like, dropping a dono, a sub, or a gifted sub on my website, xanderhall.com/live, or supporting me through YouTube, Twitch, Streamlabs, Stream Elements, Patreon, or buying merch at the Streamlabs link down below. But regardless of how you support me, even if you're a lurker, thank you for watching, and have a good one. There we go, guys. How do you guys like that segment? I feel like it came out really good. I was an extra in The Walking Dead at one point. It used to get filmed like 2 miles from my parents' old church. Damn, Sulfin. What were you when were you an extra? I want to know, like, when to look for you. I want to be able to go, that's one of my fans. That's fucking awesome, though. They do heavy environmental storytelling, and there's a lot to appreciate there. I actually started watching scenes from the show with that thought in mind. It's like, man, there is a lot to appreciate here. Like, you can pause an episode of The Walking Dead, and it's like, you can figure out what happened in this hallway that made it like this. It's a bit like Fallout in that way. Environmental storytelling skeletons to the max, you know? All right. With that said, guys, I think here's where I'm going to wrap up the stream for the day, but in just a few moments, we are going to be starting the Walking Dead watch party. So I really hope to see a lot of you guys there in Xander's Theater in my Discord server. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and hop in the VC right now and start the stage. The Walking Dead Spooky Watch Party. There we go. Start that stage. Now people can start joining. All right, everybody. I really hope to see a lot of you guys in there. It's going to be a great, great time. We're going to get nice and spooked with some classic top-tier zombie media at its peak. So with that said, guys, I love you all very much. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you guys at the watch party. Get in there, guys. Get in there. Get in Zan's Theater in my Discord. What are you doing? Get in there.